Hello everyone, welcome to What If Naruto Was Trained by Meliodas, Zeldris Estarossa to be Bloody Demon of Konoha Part 1. Before we start, please go support Diego Lopez 917 for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistake in character's gender, but of course Naruto is a male. Chapter 1. We found ourselves in the Forest of Death, one of the most dangerous places in Konoha, where only a few jounin dared to come and many were unable to survive. However, on a kind of cross, there was a little boy of no more than 4 years old. His hair color was blonde while he was completely covered in blood. He had many stakes, each and every one of them sharp weapons stuck in his body. Many of the weapons were in his heart, back, arms, elbows, next to a mark that probably has the word demon written in weapons, and it goes without saying that his body was completely covered in blood. In his mouth he had a muzzle, his gaze lowered and his hair covered his face, the sad and unhappy life of this little boy who, due to an injustice, was treated worse than a renegade ninja, for his only sin was being born in Konoha, which was full of people who were not able to understand the water in the glass, and despite everything, he was alive, just waiting for death to do him justice and for him to finally obtain the peace he had longed for. However, fate wanted something more for this little boy, since a demonic voice told him to come. He didn't know why, but that voice, despite being macabre, was pleasant to him, so without realizing it, he left the cross he was on and slowly walked aimlessly, just listening to the voice. On the way to a large cliff he fell down. Regardless of how he was due to the constant injuries he suffered all his life, he became completely immune to pain. When he fell, everything was completely dark until you finally arrived. We have been waiting for you for a long time, little one. Despite being a human, it is clear that you have great potential in you, said a voice from among the shadows of those who were around the defenseless child. That's true, even his heart is as pure and kind as an angel, but at the same time as dark and sinister as hell itself, a combination I had never seen in any living being, said another voice that sounded a bit like the previous one. Ha 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 ha, I'm surprised that there's still some kindness left in that brat despite how that stupid, filthy village treated him. In his state, he wouldn't even be able to kill a fly. It reminds me of when I was little, said another voice. Naruto, who are you? Are you the ones who have been calling me? I would like to know what your purpose is and why exactly. The little one said, confused and serious, trying to hide his fear since he doesn't know who it was. They did not respond, but a small light appeared and revealed 3 figures. One of them was a blonde man with a dark mark and white clothes, along with a black-haired man similar to him and a dark mark along with red clothes, and the last one was a gray-haired man with dark eyes and blue clothes with armor. Meliodas. First I will introduce myself. I am Meliodas, firstborn son of the Demon King, former leader of the 10 Commandments and the 7 deadly sins. In the past I betrayed my own race along with those I came to call companions, all because of the sin of falling in love with a goddess named Elizabeth. Because of that, the Holy War originated. During that battle I was cursed to see my former beloved die for eternity, and I was not able to die, but with the help of the 7 deadly sins I managed to break the curse and kill my father along with the leader of the race of goddesses, the supreme deity. However, behind my back, the goddess Elizabeth, along with the giants and fairies, conspired to kill me because they thought that the Demon King took my body because when I used all my power I obtained the appearance of when my father took control of me. I tried to explain to them, they did not listen to me, not even the bear of sloth, the snake of envy, the boar of gluttony. They betrayed me and attacked me, the lion of pride and the fox of greed, the goat of lust along with my brothers who are them, defended me. But in the end they used a seal that locked us all up, he said seriously. Naruto, I see what happened to you. It's something similar to what happened to my lord Meliodas. But can I know what happened to all of you, since I suppose that many of you must have gone through something similar, he said with doubt while looking at the 2 subjects. Zeldris, it's my turn. I am Zeldris, and I am the commandment of mercy. I am the younger brother of Meliodas here present. In my case, like my brother, I had a light, and that woman was Gelda, a vampire woman from whom I even left behind my father's back during my brother's betrayal. The Demon King ordered me to kill the vampire clan, and I did it alone too. A group that included Gelda. I sealed them waiting for the right moment. Then I thought that Meliodas had killed her along with the sins. Because of that I hated him with all my being. However, I discovered that she had sealed her again, and after we killed my father along with the supreme deity, everything was going to be peace. However, my beloved who became the vampire queen told me the plan to betray my brother. I convinced her not to do it, but even so I was determined. I had to choose between her and my brother. In the end I decided to do the right thing and support my older brother. When I made my decision, she left me not without first having insulted me and saying that he was disgusting as a demon, and as you know they sealed us, he said, looking at the child very seriously. Naruto, I see, they betrayed him anyway. I admire him a lot, Mr. Meliodas. He sacrificed everything to be with his brother, even the things that happened. I would have liked to have a brother like you, Zeldris-san said with a smile while looking at him. Zeldris, thank you very much, Naruto, and despite everything that happened, the things that he said in the past or having betrayed my race, I did it because it was the right thing to do and because he is my older brother and part of Estarossa. We should support each other between the three of us no matter what, he said, calmly observing the little one. Naruto, in fact, that's what I was wondering. Don't take it the wrong way, Mr. Estarossa, but really, you don't have much resemblance. Only in your hair you look alike. But even your aura is different from that of your brothers here present, he said, looking at him. Estarossa, you don't offend me. In fact, you are very observant, Naruto. I'd better tell you my story. To begin with, before being Estarossa I was known as Male. In my past I was a weakling who was not able to kill an insect. Because of that I was the laughingstock of my clan. Only my brother and Elizabeth helped me. Thanks to their motivation I managed to advance and I became the most powerful archangel of all, known as the Angel of Death. But in the middle of the Holy War, the wizard Gao used a spell that transformed me and made everyone believe that I was the demon Estarossa who possesses the commandment of love. Because of that I killed many angels and killed my brothers Serial and Tarmiel, and my older brother Littleseal used all his power during the battle against the Demon King and ended up dying after the supreme deity revived angels, and we managed to defeat her and free them from her mind control spell. I returned and was rejected by my brothers according to them for being a traitor by becoming a demon and killing my brothers. I wanted to explain to them what happened, but even Elizabeth herself told them. He said that I betrayed them and they attacked me without hesitation. Because of that, while I was running away I met Zeldris. I told him what happened at recess, the 10 commandments. I took the one of love and Zeldris the one of mercy, and he kept the remaining 8. Thanks to that I became Estarossa again, and we helped Meliodas. But as you know we ended up sealed, he said calmly. Naruto, that explains a lot of things, but there's something I don't understand why they called me specifically. I'm not saying that what they told me wasn't helpful, on the contrary. We have a lot of things in common, but I want to know why they called me, he said, looking at them. Meliodas. After sealing us we were here for 3,000 years, but it was when we felt you, Naruto, using a magic that I learned from Merlin. We saw what your eyes see, and it disgusts me to see what those humans have done to you and their power that decreased noticeably. So as you know we can't leave since the sealing destroyed our physical forms. Now we are spirits, and we call you because we want you to be our successor, he said seriously. Zeldris, as my brother said, you are the one to have all our power in this space. We have access to our seal in which you entered in spirit, and we will train you in all our powers, and after that the 3 of us will merge with you, he said seriously. Estarossa, once that happens you will stop being human, and you will be half demon, half archangel. Thanks to that, if a member of the goddesses appears you will have immunity to the attacks of light, and you will have the power to take revenge on those who mistreated you for an injustice, and you will be able to become the most powerful being of all. What do you say, you accept? He said with a dark smile while looking at him. Naruto, I accept. Since I can remember everyone has called me demon, monster, and different insults. Now it is time for the true demon to become the most powerful demon of all, he said with a macabre voice. Time skipped 10 days in the real world, 1,000 years in the stamp world. During that time Naruto was learning from each of his teachers, who first transformed him into a half-archangel demon, while each of them taught him their following techniques. Meliodas. 1. Hand-to-hand combat. Meliodas has great skills in physical combat, as he has managed to defeat several holy knights using only his hands. 2. Superhuman strength. Meliodas is an immensely powerful individual. He has demonstrated his physical strength through his ability to crush steel using his bare hands or affect the terrain around him by simply waving his foot against the ground to create large accidents. 3. Enhanced speed. His great agility has allowed him to evade attacks from holy knights with relative ease, and likewise quickly counterattack his opponents with great fluidity in his movements. 4. Superhuman endurance. One of his greatest strengths in combat is his ability to withstand any kind of damage he receives, whether physical or magical. In several of his battles, he has managed to withstand cuts, large-scale physical impacts, and special attacks from opponents such as the Holy Knights, who are known for being the strongest in the Kingdom of Britannia. 5. Full Counter Zen Hengeki, lit. Counterattack. This ability allows him to reflect only incoming attacks that use magic and multiply their power, but it has the serious problem that it requires a direct attack to work, so techniques that do damage with secondary effects such as bomb explosions are effective against it. 6. Revenge Counter Fukushu Counter, lit. Revenge Counterattack. As explained by Gautha, through this technique, Meliodas can retain all the powers or attacks he receives to finally release all the acquired damage but with double the power. When using this technique against Hendrickson, according to Gauther, the probability of him surviving was less than 0.2%. 7. Dark Prominence Dakupurominensu, lit. Dark Prominence. According to what appears in the movie Cursed by Light. Against the Supreme Deity, this attack covers his sword with dark rays, capable of damaging the goddess of goddesses herself and being defeated. 8. Assault Mode Senmetsu Jotai Asaruto Modo, lit. Assault Mode. This state is reached by Meliodas when he unleashes his demonic powers, attaining immense powers. According to Melascula, back in the days when Meliodas was in charge of the 10 Commandments, even they were afraid of him when he entered this mode. The drawback, however, is that it temporarily robs Meliodas of all his feelings and emotions, causing him to revert to what he was before he betrayed the demon clan. 9. Kami Chijiri, lit. 1,000 Divine Cuts. Meliodas cuts his opponent with his sword a total of 1,000 times in just an instant. 10. Infinite Obscurity Mugen no Yami, lit. Infinite Darkness, a technique he learned in the Valley of the Druids, based on King's Gishoku Sa Reta Chikara technique. It creates blobs of darkness that spin at high speeds and can serve as both offensive and defensive projectiles. 11. Enchantment, Hellray Jigaku no Kasen, an ability shown against the Supreme Deity that allows him to generate dark rays that he can use in close combat or at a distance. Little is known about it, as it is only used in the movie Cursed by Light. 1. 12. Enchantment, Hellblaze Fujiu Enchanto, Gokuen Haraburizu, an ability displayed by Meliodas, which allows him to generate black flames that have great destructive power and are inextinguishable. This ability can bypass the regenerative abilities of an immortal, as it did with Ban. This ability is known to have some sort of relation to the demon clan. 13. Divine Slayer Kami Chijiri, lit. Divine Slayer, a powerful attack by Meliodas, where he enhances his senses and power to the maximum. He jumps while imbuing black flames into his sword. Finally, he launches a black fire slash. 14. The demon sword Lost Vein is Meliodas' sacred treasure. However, he claimed to have sold it over the years to raise funds for the boar hat. However, during the battle against Albion, Merlin returns it to Meliodas, telling him that he had found it in the Camelot market. Its main ability is the Jitsuzo Bunshin, which allows Meliodas to create clones of himself. Zeldris. 1. God Godel, lit. God, Zeldris' innate power. According to himself, the Demon King can lend him his magical power for use. With this power, Zeldris is immune to all magical attacks. 2. Ominous Nebula Fukuso Kuna Cyan, lit. Sinister Nebula, Zeldris' original magical power, which through extreme and definitive concentration allows him to accelerate the darkness within him, making it spin, creating a whirlwind that attracts all living beings around it with great force, as if the air were swallowed by a vacuum cleaner. Everything that enters that area will be torn to pieces at such incredible speed that neither absolute reflexes nor any sense of a living being could allow it to avoid it. In Merlin's words, it would be total reaction, counter-reaction in Latin America. 3. Enchantment, Hellblaze Fujiu Enchanto, Gokuen Harabirizu, an ability that allows Zeldris to generate black flames that have great destructive power and are inextinguishable. 4. Dai Zire, Ikari no Hai Desu Ire, lit. Day of Wrath, Zeldris summons a portal above his desired target, unleashing a massive beam to strike them. 1. 5. Sinister Tying, Fukitsuna Nakutai, lit. Sinister Binding, bindings of darkness fall from the sky and immobilize their victim, leaving them at their mercy. 6. The Commandment of Mercy, Keishin of the Ten Commandments, a title granted by the Demon King himself. His commandment is that if someone turns their back on him, it is considered an act of betrayal and infidelity not only to Zeldris himself but also to the Demon King he represents, and therefore they are subjected to a complete state of submissive obedience. Estarossa. 1. Full Counter Zen Hengeki Furikonta, lit. Full counter or counterattack. Like Meliodas, Estarossa is capable of using full counter. However, unlike his brother, Estarossa can only return physical attacks with more than double their original power. 2. Hellblaze Fujiu Enchanto, Gokuen Harabirizu, lit. Hellblaze, a mysterious ability possessed by Estarossa that allows him to generate black flames. The technique also has the additional effect of nullifying an immortal's regeneration. 3. Rebellion Hangyakuken Riberian, lit. Swords of Rebellion. Estarossa is able to summon 7 black swords and control them at will. 4. Blackout Enkakakeki Buraquado, lit. Great Darkness. Estarossa can generate a mass of darkness on any target she desires, which is then consumed by it. 5. The Commandment of Love Jai of the Ten Commandments, a title granted by the Demon King himself, which allows him to render powerless anyone who harbors hatred within them, preventing them from harming others. The power of his commandment allowed him to block Meliodas' revenge counter powered by the attacks of the other 10 commandments, and leave him without any strength after this. 6. Arc, a powerful magic from the God clan that can counteract the darkness of demons by disintegrating it with particles of light. The target is enveloped in a dazzling sphere of light that shatters their body. This technique can be used in sphere form or even in laser form. 7. Kyusai no Ya male fires an arc arrow that pierces his opponent. This attack grants a death save to demons, but will inflict a great deal of pain on other races. 8. Darkness. Demons can create and manipulate a black substance to enhance their offensive or defensive capabilities. This substance can be transformed into various forms, from wings for flight to weapons for attack or defense. After finishing their training, the 3 of them, as they said, completely merged into Naruto. When he woke up, he saw that he had the same appearance as in his training, only he didn't use his demonic mark, so he took a big leap leaving the cliff while he was in the forest of death where he went to his home, which was very small but was just as he left it. When he was about to enter, he stopped and said the following. Naruto, what are Orochimaru's Sannin of the Snakes and Danzo Shimura, the head of the civil council and known under the nickname of the War Hawk, who also handles his Anbu route, doing here, said so that the aforementioned appear from the bushes. Danzo, I'm surprised that a brat like you knows us perfectly, and from what I see you seem to know even more than other people. How is it that you know? He said seriously while he was watching in case he tried to do something hostile. Naruto, I have lived in the most rotten part of Konoha where I have seen your root Anbu all the time, and from the beginning I have felt that some of your snakes are watching me as well, and I obtained information on my own as I also know what they are looking for, using me as a weapon to possibly one day overthrow the Hokage, he said seriously. Orochimaru, Kakuku, you are smarter than we think, and I used my best tracking snakes that not even a Jounin could detect. Everything you said is right, now we just wait for your answer, Naruto-kun said with a smile. Naruto, my answer is that I accept. I will become the best weapon of Konoha and I will only be loyal to you too, but in return I will ask for some things, training in all the shinobi arts, even the forbidden ones, and I will do high-ranking missions. Being an Anbu, I will not have your seal of silence since I do not plan to betray either of you. You can even experiment with any cell in my body, and if the 2 of you die for any reason, I will leave Konoha and kill anyone you order me to, no matter who it is, he said seriously. Danzo, for being small, Your attitude is like that of a cruel and ruthless being, something I've never seen in my entire life. Okay, Naruto, or should I say bloody demon now? We accept the conditions. For now, we have to go. You will become the strongest being that has ever existed, he said seriously, while he nods. Appearance of Kurosaki Uzumaki Namikaze the spoiled arrogant. Kyomi Uchiha's appearance. Heir of the Uchiha clan, and she is an arrogant spoiled. Naruto's appearance. A demon with all the powers of his masters. Karma's appearance. A kind-hearted little boy as pure as an angel. Chapter 2. It has been around 10 years since Naruto obtained the powers and legacy of Meliodas, Zeldris, and Estarossa. He was also training with Danzo and Orochimaru. During that time many things happened. As you know, he became an Anbu root named the Bloody Demon, being in a short time feared by all ninja nations, equally learning not only his demonic techniques, that they nicknamed him as the Darkness style. Since Orochimaru experimented with the achievement that he had the wood style along with the lava style, his was even more powerful because his lava was with demonic flames, so they were more devastating. His elements are in total water, earth, fire, lightning, and wind. Not to mention that his earth techniques were devastating like that of the giant race. Author's note: in case you are wondering, in this story the giants evolved into humans, and they are the humans from the Naruto saga. But is that their level is not on par with them, but Naruto reached it by being a demon, and using magic instead of chakra. End of note. He also gave him the contract of summoning the snakes along with another one that would be shown in this story, and he was trained in many techniques as well. With his help they stole the Forbidden Scroll and stole many techniques that helped teach him. Naruto also had to go to the academy because Danzo and Orochimaru found out that the Hokage invited the Raikage, Kazekage Tsuchikage along with the Fire Daimyo to show off his daughter's great strength, so they had a plan to leave him completely humiliated, which would be well remembered by many people. His treatment was the same. They see him as a demon and insults, only that the root Anbus respected and feared him, even though he was of a higher rank than all of them together. It can be said that he is Danzo and Orochimaru's right-hand man, even though when he entered he maintained a serious look and was distant from everyone. He did not have any friends and people hit him, however, he never felt an ounce of pain. The one who insulted him the most was his sister Kurosaki, who tried to humiliate him all the time, and even though she did it, he didn't care at all. During the semester she spent bothering him all the time, and it angered him that none of her insults affected him. On the other hand, Kyomi Uchiha started dating Naruto as a couple and treated him well. And he only showed a few fake emotions. Obviously, he can detect people's emotions. On the other hand, Minato and Kushina, along with Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Sarutobi, when they found out about it, tried to do everything possible to kill him, even pretending that they were good people so that when they least expected it, they would kill him from behind, failing because he never started a conversation with any of them. He only managed to enroll because the director of the academy was a spy of Root who, taking total control, managed to get him in, and many of the teachers were Anbus who only served Danzo, but the few despised them, and the rest just pretended in the tests. This was in regular terms since he didn't do much, let's say, just the minimum to pass because his temporary masters said not to do it until the graduation event. Present. We are all on a Monday, and we meet at the academy where as always Naruto had arrived early. He was wearing the Meliodas suit of the 10 Commandments along with his sword while he has his eyes closed and was sitting with a stoic look. While he was feeling the presence of the students who were arriving, something that didn't matter to him, he still felt tickles, probably because they were throwing a lot of things at him, but he didn't feel anything until a voice spoke to him. Kyomi, Naruto-kun, before we start these exams there is something I've wanted to tell you since our time as boyfriend and girlfriend, so do you think you can listen to me please? It will only be for a moment, she said in a soft voice while looking at him. But as expected, he didn't respond at all and simply opened his eyes, showing those lifeless eyes that didn't have a bit of shine, something that intimidated many of those present who looked away when they saw him. He waited for him to finish speaking, even though someone else had already spoken, so he could say the following. Kurosaki, what you have to tell her, idiot demon, is that she literally only used you, she only played with you. I can't believe that you really believe that someone like Kyomi would love you, ha 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 ha, that is so pathetic, and so mediocre to the point of no return, she said mockingly while the rest joined in. Ino, that's right, demon, I really don't understand how that could have crossed your mind. She has even spoken badly of you behind your back. She has even kissed many of the boys from this school," she said with a giggle that was shared with the rest of those present. "Chuji, if it's true, even for us the mere idea of pretending to be your friends was disgusting. I'd rather eat spoiled food for a week than be your demon friend like you who I don't understand why hasn't died yet," he said with grace in his voice. "Shikamaru, exactly, and it's because you're just a nuisance to everyone, although you know it's for the best, since even Satsuki has been dating me for a long time, and I must tell you that she kisses spectacularly, something that you've never done," he said mockingly while watching it. "Hinata, besides, I don't understand how it is that you haven't died yet. It would have been better for everyone if you had died. No one wants you in this village. The only thing you're good for is being a punching bag for all of us," he said arrogantly while laughing. "Kill me, and as my best friend said, I would never be the girlfriend of a useless demon like you. I, being an elite of my clan, should not get my hands dirty with you. It disgusted me so much to say that I am your girlfriend, but it's good that it ended," she said arrogantly while laughing. After finishing saying that, each and every one of the students immediately began to play along, insulting him by saying a lot of things to him, and their laughter lasted for a while until after a while they heard something that left everyone present in shock. "Naruto. Ah, okay," he said completely disinterested while closing his eyes again, leaving more than one confused since they thought he was going to cry, but his reaction was completely different while someone said the following. "Kiba, hey, you bucking demon, didn't you listen? Kyomi-chan just told you that she only used you as her toy. Tell me what's up with that reaction. Why don't you cry like the garbage that you are and that you will always be? Stop acting so brave. What the hell was that damn reaction?" he said angrily and confused like all the students. "Naruto. Because I really knew that the moment she came to me and asked me if I wanted to be my girlfriend. I always knew everything, even the part about her plan, and I haven't cried for many years, nor do I have to act brave with something as pathetic as this," he said, to the even greater surprise of those present, but someone spoke up to say the following. "Sasuke, wait a second. If you already knew all this was going to happen, then why did you agree to be my sister Kyomi's boyfriend anyway? I even remember that you went to our house to spend time with her even though you knew it was a lie," he said, confused like many of those present. "Naruto, very simple. I wanted to feel emotions. I hope that being with the wheelbarrow would make me feel emotions like joy, anger, sadness. I even pretended to feel that little bit of joy and love to see if I really felt that emotion. Even I hope to feel something with the revelation now, but I feel absolutely nothing in the end. For me, everything that happened with her was just an experiment. Everything I told her, the few nice things that were a lie, of course it was an experiment, hoping as a result to feel something. In the end it has no relevance to me," he said seriously. "Kyomi, wait a moment. Why the hell are you telling me I'm a wheelbarrow? What the hell do I look like?" she said angrily and confused, although internally she truly fell in love with the blonde. But now she knows that he also used her and it hurt her even though she didn't say it out loud. "Naruto, it's simple. The wheelbarrows and you can be pulled by any guy who crosses your path, and with what your lackey said they just confirmed that you are a nobody in every sense of the word. Anyway, now they're done with their childish show of wanting to see me suffer," he said, closing his eyes again while still having his serious look. Because of what she said, there was no shortage of laughter, which is why they called him that. Even her friends were laughing at her, and seeing such humiliation, she simply sat down all angry and sad while Kurosaki planned a way to make the boy feel bad. "Iruka, well class, this is a special day. Today you will become genin and your parents, and the Reikage Kazakage Tsuchikage will be there along with the Fire Daimyo himself with their respective companions, so give your all to show how strong you are in front of them, and see what the new generation of Konoha is capable of," he said with a smile. Everyone nodded, many determined to make an effort, others smiled with great arrogance, believing that all this was going to be more than simple, and others did not care at all about what that man, who is their sensei from the academy, said. Iruka, meanwhile, one of his most beloved instructors, Mizuki, is going to give them an exam first. They have a total of 1 hour to answer it. He said that the aforementioned would be handing out each exam, although Naruto's had a genjutsu that he managed to see and just by touching it, it vanished. When time passed, everyone was answering the tests while some were trying to copy, although after about 5 minutes Naruto just stood up and without saying anything approached his teacher and left him the test while he said, "Iruka, let me see if you answered it. Wow, amazing, you finished quickly and got 10. I congratulate you. Now get out of here, Demon Master. Bloody Demon Sasuke. Uchiha may be a good candidate to form an Anbu root. What should I do?" said the last thing, whispering so that only he could hear it. Naruto, try to tempt him. Pretend that you meet him by chance and make him talk about his feelings and tell him that there is a way to become strong. You will present it to Danzo-sama yourself and let him decide what to do with him, he said, whispering as he left the place. Kurosaki, that stupid demon thinks he managed to beat me. Well, he's wrong. The daughter of the Hokage can't be humiliated like this. I'll do it in the next test. You'll see. I'm going to crush you and everyone will know that I'm the best of all. I don't care what I have to do to achieve it, she thought angrily, like many of those present. Already outside were the leaders with Tsunade and Jiraiya Shizen, the clan leaders, the Hokage and his wife with Hiruzen Sarutobi, the Reikage and companions, the Tsuchikage and companions, the Kazekage and companions, and the daimyo with his wife and daughter, who saw how the blonde came out. Many looked at him with hatred from the civilians and clan leaders along with the Hokage and his wife, although in the case of the other leaders they were curious about him, but two people who appeared were strangely happy to see him. Minato, that damn demon has the nerve to still be using my son's body and keep pretending that he is him. I would kill him right now if it weren't for them being there, and I can't act now, he thought, frustrated and looking at the boy with hatred. Kushina, just seeing him and remembering the day he took my son away makes me want to tear him apart with my chains, but I must be careful with the Kages because if I do it now it would cause a bad impression, but you'll see when all this is over. She thought the same as her husband and looked at him with hatred. Tsunade, I'm surprised that he still survived after the amount of beatings and torture I've given him, although of course if we do a test and I kill him by accident I don't think they'll tell me anything. Of course, when I have him in front of me I'll make him pay, she thought with a smile. Jiraiya, enjoy your moment of glory because very soon my dear student will kill you because she is destined to eradicate all the evil in the world and you will be the first one she will fall into, he thought maliciously while imagining many scenes. But his thoughts were interrupted when everyone saw that on his shoulder a little bird was next to him, and when he turned to look at it he smiled calmly, where many looked strange that turned into a complete shock when they saw how the little bird began to inflate in a grotesque way, and then heard the blonde say the following. Naruto, shut up, he said to the little bird. He ended up exploding completely, and to make matters worse, his remains fell very close to the civilians and clan leaders who were more scared, as were the rest of those present who witnessed such a grotesque scene. Killer Bee, hey Gyuki, what did that brother do? That's not normal. His way of doing that has never been seen before. You know what it is? Yeah, he said, mentally speaking to his Bijou friend, since the octopus was just as serious while he told him the following. Gyuki, I don't know Bee, never in my life as a Bijou did I see something like this. It doesn't seem like he made a move, and seeing that was something terrifying, so you have to be careful with that boy. Even I felt scared seeing how he killed him, and he only said 2 words, he said, trembling a little from witnessing that moment. Yujuto, hey Matatabi, have you ever seen anything like this? What he did was so scary, how he killed that poor little animal in the most grotesque way I've ever seen in my life, she said, scared and speaking mentally while looking at her partner. Matatabi, I don't know, Kitty, but it would be better if you didn't get close to him. His power level is quite high, even though I don't see him emanating much chakra. I feel such a great thirst for death that my instincts tell me to leave that place, so I suggest you don't do anything against that guy, she said seriously and trembling. Shikaku, brat, this is very serious. This brat is not normal. He gives off an intimidating aura that reflects blood and death, and he does not seem to be human. Tell your brothers not to confront that guy for anything in the world because even I was scared, he said seriously, speaking in the redhead's mind. Gaara, Kankuro Temari, be careful, mother just told me that I should not fight against him and mother is afraid of that boy who says that he is not normal at all, she said, to make the aforementioned even more afraid, because if Abijah says that then it must be for something serious. Kurasuchi, I've never heard of Konoha having an ability like that. Besides, something isn't right with that child. He's barely little. His eyes have no life at all and I only see darkness and an infinite thirst for blood, despite his blue eyes, I thought with fear. Reikage, But what did that brat do? What kind of ability did he use to do that? Never in my life have I seen anything like it. He almost doesn't even look like a normal human," he said, surprised and a little scared to see that scene. "Anoki, I say the same thing. In my long life I have never seen a shinobi from Konoha do something like that, and the mere idea that he can make living beings explode without touching them or attacking them is terrifying, not to say impossible that something like that exists," he said, the same, somewhat scared. "Race, no, something is very wrong. He can't be a normal child, much less a normal shinobi. It's impossible for a boy about to become a genin to have a power like that, and even less so at such a young age. To kill like that and be so calm," he said seriously but equally scared, since although he had his son, he had never seen anything like that. Danzo, wow. Leaders of other ninja nations are surprised by so little that they saw. He has shown almost nothing of his true potential. It's not for nothing that we trained him to be a weapon of power and destruction, he said calmly while he looks at them. Orochimaru, Kakuku Naruto-kun seems to have wanted to make a first impression. I must say that the way he did it was spectacular. I didn't expect less from him. I didn't expect less from my best student, he said with a smile while licking his lips. Hiruzen, how did you train him? He said seriously, although nervously, because if they have the demon in their hands and knowing what they were like, then the results were going to be disastrous for them and for all of Konoha, according to his thoughts. Danzo, as you heard dear Mono no Kami, and I must say that he has more potential than any idiot. Just see how he humiliated the stupid daughter of the Hokage without even trying. I even dare say that he surpasses many of us here, since barely being young his level surpassed many Chunin. What do you think? Yondaime-sama said with a smile, being the anger of the older blonde and the Uzumaki woman. Minato, if what they say is true, if it was already a threat to Konoha, now it is worse if it is in the hands of those two. Who knows how powerful they have made it during these years, he thought seriously and somewhat angry. After a while they all started arriving until finally Akiba came while Irika was passing by, and he said the following when he saw each one of them while he said the following. Irika, very well, thank you all, parents of our future ninjas, to see what they are capable of. First will be Naruto Shimura, since he got the best grade and in a short time he will be first for the Kunai and Shuriken test. He said so that he nods and stands in front and has a stoic look. Obviously the one who gave them to him was Mitsuki, who quickly noticed that they were not sharp, but all it took was a little bit of dark chakra for him to do so. Without saying anything, he threw all the kunais and shurikens so that they all hit. More than that, they ended up destroying the trees, leaving everyone present surprised to see his mastery. Irika, kunais, 10 out of 10. Well done Naruto Shimura, you really showed a very high level. Can I know how you managed to do something like that, and more being just a child, he said curiously while he looks at the green-haired boy. Naruto, training, just train day and night, without eating, without sleeping, and don't waste time on silly things like love, emotions, dreams. All of them are a weakness, and abandoning your humanity in exchange for power because power conquers all, he said with a dead and cold voice. Many were scared, especially the Kages and their companions, for hearing their way of speaking, since they have not heard it for a while, although without realizing it, a certain redhead nodded in confirmation for hearing their words while having thoughts. Gaara, it's like me, it seems that destiny wanted to show me a true demon in all his splendor. I want him to prove my existence and have a battle, although mother says that we would be dead if we faced him, he thought, looking at the boy. After that the test passed and everyone had a note of kunais and shurikens, something that angered certain arrogant Uchihas, and a certain blonde who believes herself to be the Queen of England, so they passed in the part of making a jutsu while it happened in that way. Women's turn. Sakura Haruno all the jutsu and did a typical jutsu of the academy without using a good jutsu, as they saw it wrong since their training was not like in their villages. Hinata Hyuga the requirements, and a water element. Ino Yamanaka the requirements, and that of her clan Kiyomi Uchiha the requirements, and that of her clan Kurosaki Uzumaki Namikaze the requirements, and used the ice element jutsu, being applauded by many of those present. Kurosaki, get over that, useless demon, ha 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 ha, why do I tell you, no one can overcome what I do, the goddess of this shinobi world said arrogantly, looking at the blonde who still maintained his usual stoic and dead look, but he had the cynicism to nod his head, something that only angered her more. Men's turn. So Shino Aburame passed the requirements, and that of his clan Shikamaru Nara the requirements, and that of his clan Kiba Inozuka the requirements, and that of his clan Chuji Akimichi the requirements, and that of his clan Sasuke Uchiha the requirements, and that of his clan while someone spoke to say, Sasuke, beat that dope, although I highly doubt that you will be able to overcome an elite Uchiha like me, he said arrogantly while he sees him, and he still sees him seriously while he completely ignored him, yawning, making him angrier. At the time he passed, he did the normal jutsus, including the rare clones. Since he did not do any hand positions, they simply left as if nothing, but when he passed jutsus, he immediately approached his teachers and told them the following. Naruto, Danzo Dano, do you think I can use that power that you told me I should hide? It seems to me that it is a good time to show it to all the Kages who see us, he said, so that he simply looked at the boy while he said the following. Danzo, of course Naruto, you can use it. Reikage, Kazekage, and Tsuchikage, I want you to be witnesses, because what you are all about to see is the result of the most powerful being that Konoha has had the great honor of having. Show you what I mean, he said with a smile to see how he activated a strange mark and say the following. Naruto, Darkness Style Enchantment, Hellblaze, Fujiu Enchanto. Goku and Harabiriza said to take out a purple fire and throw it at the dummy, making it explode and burn, leaving everyone present surprised until someone spoke. Reikage, but what kind of fire was that? I've never seen anything like it in my life. Is it a new type of Kekei Genkai? What a surprise, I never imagined that Konoha had that kind of arsenal. And more than one child said, surprised like the rest, who were still in shock, while someone says, Orochimaru Kukuku, what you saw before you is the style of darkness, a power that was developed by Naruto himself, which is said to be very old, that only a few people know about it, and have used it, and can handle other techniques of great power, he said with a smile as he looks at them. Danzo, in fact I asked him to do a technique that is like a form of our new alliance with you. Tsuchikage Dano, Reikage Dano, I really hope you like it, he said with respect, looking at the aforementioned, who was somewhat curious about what he would do. Naruto, Earth-style Giant Gauntlet, Kaijin no Teko Giganto Gantoretto, lit. Giant God Gauntlet, said to raise his hands, and from being several pillars that when they saw, surprised to see two giant hands that left those of the Earth village speechless. Anoki, how surprising, a great masterpiece for my taste. It is surprising that a boy from the Fire Village has a great connection with the land. It is really rare to see this, which is undoubtedly seen once every 1,000 years in a generation, he said, surprised while seeing them. Kurasuchi, not only that, I have never seen anything like that in my life. Apart from generating so much land that measures more than 5 meters high, it is extremely difficult. No one in our village would be capable of something like that. Their affinity is the greatest I have ever seen, she said seriously while looking at it. Naruto, wood-style jutsu, multiple would release clones. Tajumo Kutan Bunshin no Jutsu, said to create hundreds of wood clones, leaving everyone present with their mouths open, plus a certain Senju seeing her father's element used by that demon, or as he usually calls him. Orochimaru, Kukuku, before you make a scandal Tsunade about how you have it, well, you should know that they took cells in which Naruto agreed to use them and handles it almost at the same time as your dear grandfather, he said to the woman's surprise and caused more fear. Tsunade, it can't be his connection with nature, he must even be on par with my grandfather Hashirama Senju. Someone capable of that is extremely dangerous. And even more so if it's that disgusting demon, things get even more complicated, she thought, scared. Hiruzen, my master's wood style, what a great dishonor that it is used by that damn demon. I must eliminate it, but I will do it another time, because doing it now would bring problems with the other villages, he thought while looking with disgust at the younger blonde. Naruto, Thunder Emperor Purge Lightning Style, Raiti no Shikusei, lit. Punishment of the Thunder Emperor, in Latin America Purge of the Emperor, he said while creating a large lightning bolt, while generating a great wave of power that sent many of the civilians flying, which he didn't even care about while someone spoke. Reikage, magnificent way of handling lightning. From what I can see, it has a great affinity to too many elements to the point of launching S-rank techniques, and being as if nothing is happening is something that not even I would be able to do so many times in a row, I thought, surprised. Iruka, wow, Naruto Shimura, they are certainly great techniques, and I must admit that the last one was quite impressive with that. It's fine, I know you must be getting tired of using it, isn't it, he said calmly while he looks at it, and waits for the response of the boy who spoke to say, Naruto, honestly it's not even half of what I can do and I have more power than you can imagine, but that's enough to show the level of power I'm at now from this bunch of spoiled brats who can't even say they're future shinobi, said stoically, angering those mentioned. Daimyo, magnificent, this boy has great potential. He is a diamond in the rough, and I can openly say that I already know who is going to become the new Rookie of the Year in the entire history of Konoha, he said with a smile, while his wife nods. After that he left the arrogant ones humiliated, who were increasingly angered by the boy's way of acting, who according to them treated them as if they were garbage that were not worth it, but they let him pass for the next one, and that test was none other than to get out of a genjutsu. Many civilians passed that test, and the time they lasted. In terms of the clan heirs, it was between 5 to 3 minutes. Sasuke was 3 in the case of the girls, it was almost the same, and Kurosaki was 2 minutes at the Chunin level, and when Naruto's turn came, and they were about to give him an S rank, someone interrupted them to say the following. Danzo, Itachi, can you please come in and use the Tsukuyumi on him? To the surprise of the Uchihas, who know that this genjutsu is not the best of all for nothing, but in case those who hated him were waiting for it because they thought they were going to make him suffer. Itachi, Manjikyu or Sharingan Tsukuyumi. In Japanese mythology it is the god of the moon, said, looking at the blonde and activating his power to hide when he did. Many of the civilians smiled arrogantly, and were already waiting for his screams of suffering, but nothing kept his stoic gaze while he says the following. Naruto, wow, and I thought that was going to hurt me. It was a great disappointment coming from the prodigious Uchiha Itachi with his pathetic jutsu that is not capable of doing absolutely anything to me, not even with that technique, he said stoically, to the surprise of the aforementioned, who said the following. Itachi, how is it possible that you were able to free yourself from the genjutsu so quickly? Even a high-ranking jounin or even a kage would not be able to do it. Tell me, what method did you use? He said, surprised like the rest of those present who heard him. Naruto, I only committed suicide in the genjutsu. It's not like it's the first time I've done something like that. In reality it would be like the 7th time I tried to commit suicide, but it was useless to do it, he said stoically while getting up and leaving the kages thinking about this boy since it was not normal. After that, at Jiraiya's request, a test was held for those who had a summoning contract. Kurosaki passed with Sasuke, Kiyomi with Naruto, and just as he entered the arena, something happened. Mitsuki came and activated a strange seal, and everyone was unable to move. Hiruzen, Mitsuki, but what does all this mean that you are trying to prove with this? I demand an explanation right now, he said, confused and angry at not being able to move while he sees how this one had a crazy face while saying the following. Mizuki, it's not obvious, fool Hokage, it's time for me who am a pawn of Konoha to rise to the top, and that demon is the key to everything. I put a seal in which no one will be able to move for a while, and thanks to this seal that I stole from the Uzumaki clan, now I can control the foolish demon, and with his power I will destroy Konoha along with the other villages, and I will rule the ninja world. Ha 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 ha. Now, 9-tailed demonic beast, answer your master, and get out of that silly body, he said madly while putting a seal on the chest of the younger blonde. Everyone was completely scared of what was going to happen except for 2 people, although from one moment to the next nothing happened at all, so he was a bit angry. He tried to do it several times but nothing happened. He tried to do it again but nothing happened. This was already making him desperate while he said at the top of his lungs, Mizuki, but why doesn't anything happen? The seal didn't fail. How come that stupid beast doesn't leave your body? I want you to answer me, stupid shitty demon, shouted, all annoyed at how his plans were going, while the blonde simply said something that left many of those present in shock. Naruto, and why else do you think, you empty head? It doesn't work because there is no beast, there is no bijou, since that stupid fox has not been in Konoha for 11 years, and until now they realize that, yes, they are pathetic shinobis of Konoha. Even a genin from another village would have noticed it, he said, to the shock of everyone present. Plus the parents, who did not believe that the Kyuubi was not there, refused to do so. That was the case of many of those present who refused to believe, and it goes without saying that many of them said insults like demon, which confused the kages, although they had an idea that he was a Jinchuriki, to see the blonde again, while he made very well-known hand seals and said the following. Naruto, 9 tails summoning jutsu. Kuchio's no Jutsu Kyuubi said to hit the floor, from which he created a large smoke screen in which the great Kyuubi came out, who gave a powerful roar that scared everyone present. The civilians were scared shitless along with the clan leaders and genin, while when he saw their faces he did what anyone would do at that moment, and started laughing at their misfortunes while he watched them and said the following. Kurama, ha 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 ha, my god, their scary faces are unique now. If idiot civilians together with you fools leaders, come on, why don't you tell me what you said to my summoner? Go ahead, I'll listen to you, he said with a smile, while he seized them, scaring them more. Naruto, I see that you gave a great show, as you always like to surprise to the point of scaring all these pathetic humans, and now I have fulfilled my part of the deal we made many years ago. I say this so that you understand that I am a man of my word, he said with a dead voice while he was on top of him and having his stoic look. Kurama, yes, and it was worth every damn second seeing the stupid faces of these idiots shitting themselves with fear when they saw me. They didn't have that fear when they hurt you, thinking it was me. How stupid, these cockroaches are easy to crush, and I see my brothers are here too. Nice to see you again, Gyuki Matatabi Tanto Shikaku, said the last thing mockingly. Naruto, so the Jinchurikis of the 1st, 2nd, and 8th tales are in Konoha. This must be a family reunion for you, and I see that at least their Kages are not as idiots as the Yellow Lightning idiot along with the bloody habanero hitch who didn't even realize that you escaped from the seal 11 years ago, he said, observing the surprised faces of both. Jiraiya, but how is it possible that you are outside? You were supposed to have been reincarnated in that brat when you took his body during the attack. How is it that you are here? That doesn't make any sense, he said, confused like many of those present. Kurama, are you deaf or what, a toad? Senile, my summoner just said it. I escaped from his body 11 years ago, and neither the great 4th Hokage nor the powerful bloody Havanen nor they realized it. It seems that you have weakened in these years. Tomato, and to think that before in your time you were a good censor and now you are a joke, he said mockingly. Minato, you can't, it's impossible. I refuse to believe, I saw it with my own eyes. How did you take our body? I refuse to believe that you're real. I know you're a fake Kyuubi. Try to fool us, it won't work, he said with a smile, thinking that was it, while others thought exactly the same as the yondaime, just for him to speak. Kurama, or since you don't believe me, then I won't mind telling many secrets that I know well. To start with, Tomato here present is a pervert with Minato, so much so that when they have Hex he always uses outfits like Tarzan or Stripper Man, or even once they put on some outfits where they only used leaves as clothing, and the day they had the brats. It was on the stairs while they had a meeting with, but it was interrupted. Kushina, shut up you damn nosy fox, don't say any more things or I'm going to hit you right now, she screamed too, blushing. Her red color could be taken as a new type of red since it was redder than her hair, while generating more fox laughter. Kurama, don't blame me, take those tests, only I can know those things because I was in Kushina Uzumaki's body. That's right, she was my previous Jinchuriki, and you were so stupid when they sealed me in the boy. They sealed me in you when you were older, so I had to take a little of his chakra since entering a weak body since he was a newborn, and all my body and power was going to kill him. That's why I took a little of his power so that his body could withstand my power, and since my chakra has a lot of hate, that's why when I did it, I attacked them. Although some of you did fix even once on the seal, he said, looking at the two who fell silent. That was also the thought of everyone present. The Hyuga looked at the boy's chakra for the first time and only saw a dark chakra, not red like the Kyuubis, which proved it, making them feel like real fools, not to say big assholes, for doing that, and many now realized that all the time they had hurt an innocent little boy. Daimyo, why was I never informed of this? Minato Namikaze, you have broken many rules, and if they are very serious I will have no choice but to remove you from your position as Hokage, he thought seriously while he looked at it surreptitiously. Killer B. Oh you yeah, and if you blind Konoha shinobi still don't want to understand, my brother Bijou confirmed that this is the original Kyuubi, yeah, he said while rapping and looking at everyone present. Yujuto, I also confirm it. My Bijou also confirms that he is the authentic Kyuubi and that both the boy who is his summoner are separate entities both in bodies and minds, she said seriously and somewhat angry at what she just discovered. Kurama, now you know Naruto and I are separate understandings, and he is only my summoner because he and I made a deal and you just fulfilled it. For now I retire, and if any of you try to bother him or hurt him I will tell him to summon me and I will kill you all, he said to explode while everything was silent, while the blonde walked towards the gray-haired man who was scared to death right now by a bad feeling. Naruto, what's going on? They're not going to say anything special. You're Mizuki-senpai. What's wrong with you? Don't tell me the fox ate your tongue. Do you know something? When your gaze changes from hope to one full of despair, he said, and his demonic mark began to appear while he said the following. Naruto, it is a true pleasure for me, he said with a dark and sinister voice while looking at him with an expression that only reflected one thing, and that was an eternal darkness accompanied by hell itself. The look on those presents' faces was pure surprise and fear, seeing that mark along with those eyes full of darkness releasing a thirst for blood that invaded all of Konoha, which was even worse than the thirst released by the Kyuubi. It was darker, much more malignant. Naruto, let's finish this, Mizuki, and this time I'll make sure you are completely eliminated from this world, he said, smiling with his demonic mark on him, while he was just completely scared like the rest of those present. So, in an act of bravery or stupidity on the part of the traitor of Konoha's Chunin, he launched himself against the blonde, but the latter made several cuts all over his body that ended up leaving him completely injured, while he only spits out a lot of blood and says the following. Mizuki, damn, this shouldn't be happening. This was supposed to be my moment of triumph. How come you're still alive when you were little we took it upon ourselves to make your life a complete misery by torturing you every day, and we enjoyed your suffering and your screams of agony, he said weakly. Raikage, how can they allow something like this in my village? We respect the Jinchurikis in a good way, and we help them to be friends with their bijus so that they work together. I hope that Konoha would be the same, but I see that I was wrong, he thought angrily. While he just watched as he slowly approached until he reached the Chunin who, to the surprise of many, patted him on the cheek while he was confused by the blonde's action until he said the following. Naruto, well, for me it was the same, he said, giving him a strong blow that ended up crashing him to the other part of the platform while he was approaching slowly. That for the aforementioned was scary since he was not able to move, and even had it he knew in advance that he was not going to be able to escape, while he says the following. Naruto, what's wrong, Mizuki? Don't tell me you thought that would be all I was going to do to you. I love it when a victim has so many hopes that they turn into despair, and the pleasure it gives me is gratifying, but rest assured, he said this while looking at him with those lifeless eyes that only reflected a thirst for blood. Naruto, you won't die yet, he said in a dark and evil tone while he was approaching with an evil smile, making everyone present feel too sorry for knowing the fate that awaits that Chunin while someone spoke. Raiga, excuse me Orochimaru-san, but can I know why the boy's behavior changed drastically? Before he was serious and cold, but now he seems sadistic and merciless. Not only is she humiliating him, but her way of acting changed noticeably, he said, confused. Orochimaru, Kakuku, that is the true personality of Naruto-kun. As you just heard, since he was little he was treated worse than a criminal or a traitor because of the stupidities of the Hokage here present, and because of him I was mistreated and hated throughout the village. Thanks to this he generated a great hatred that he kept for many years of his life until there was a trigger that made him release his darkness style for the first time, and since then his mental state is divided into two parts, the one that always shows coldness, and without a hint of emotions. When he activates that dark mark he becomes a cold sadist who likes to see his opponents suffer, he said with a smile, while watching them. Tsunade, damn snake, what the hell did you do to that little one? Don't tell me you subjected him to one of your experiments. We should arrest you right now after all this is over, she said angrily, like many of the hypocrites present who looked at him in a bad way. Danzo, now you play the victim. That's what you see before you. Those who created it are you. You looked for someone to take out all your hatred, and this was the result, and let it be very clear to you, neither Orochimaru nor I looked for him. He looked for us. He even said that he didn't care about the heavy training or the experiments. He even proclaimed himself the strongest weapon in Konoha. What you see there is only an empty shell, a killing machine that you created, he said seriously. Mizuki, I can't lose like this. If I'm going to die, then I don't intend to die so easily, he said, but the blonde only had a smile. Are you going to keep that mocking smile forever, damn it? Then what do you think of this? He said to start inflating like crazy. Kankuro, what's happening? What's happening? He's accumulating a large amount of chakra spinning throughout his body. Is it something strange? What does he intend to do with that? Is it some kind of massive jutsu that he's going to launch or something like that? He said something dubious about the action of the traitorous shinobi that someone spoke about. Orochimaru, Kakuku, now I understand what he does exactly. He uses all his strength to self-destruct, something very desperate on his part. The truth anyway, what can you do, said the snake Sanin, surprising the others while someone speaks. Kurasuchi, what? Self-destruct, and he says it as if it were the most normal thing in the world to hear a shinobi who wants to self-destruct to eliminate us all, she said, terrified by thinking about what fate awaits each of them. Mizuki, ha 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 ha, even if you can get out of this alive, I will erase this entire shinobi village that will expand to the neighboring villages, and all because of your recklessness. Everyone will be annihilated. And there is nothing you can do to stop it, he said, to the fear of many of the civilians and the genin. Naruto, if you're going to explode and kill all these people, then hurry up and do it already. I'm starting to feel sleepy just listening to you chatter, he said without a hint of emotion or regret, surprising the man along with the rest of those present while someone speaks. Hinata, damn, how is it that you are not ashamed to say something like that, and more at this moment when lives are at risk, she said angrily, and since she was not able to move and now her life now depended on the person who had been hurt for many years, as that was everyone's thought. Many of those present were already waiting for their end, which they knew was coming. Some were even closing their eyes, waiting for the inert end of their death, until they heard a female voice that said the following, this being a female chunin who spoke to say the following. Tsubaki, Mizuki-kun, that's enough, please don't do it, I don't want to lose you, leave all this is not the right path, what are you doing right now doesn't solve anything, she said, hugging him, while he was completely surprised while he said the following. Mizuki, Tsubaki, what are you doing here? I told you to wait in the shelter with our daughter. Let me, I want to finish off that bastard right now. He deserves to die along with this whole stupid village, he said angrily, but at the same time trying to convince her to leave. Tsubaki, I won't do it, that's not you, you're not the man I fell in love with and married. Do you think our daughter would like to know that her father killed many people on a whim? Are you really willing to give up your selfish dream? If you do, you'll lose me and your daughter, she said, crying while showing her to the little girl who looks at her with sadness. The aforementioned remained for a moment mentally considering what he was about to do, and still remembering his wife's words along with that moment the reason why he did it before, and now his hatred even had a great revelation, and simply said the following. Mizuki, I won't do it, I won't kill anyone. It seems that in the end I realized that the only one who is truly a monster is me. I still remember when I was a little boy I had hopes I became a shinobi to follow the will of fire, but since the Kyuubi's attack I had a great hatred for him for having killed many of my comrades that I like many took out all our anger on you, Naruto, an innocent child whose only sin was being born in this world. I called the Kyuubi many times as a demon, a monster when the only monsters are us, to transform a little boy who was as pure as an angel into what he is now, a demon who has kindness with no one, said sadly. Everyone upon hearing his words equally reflected and could not deny it. The civilians were the same, the shinobi clan leaders, the genin were all equally sad while they watched the disinterested look of the blonde, but those who were worse were the Hokage, his mother, and the two Sannin who felt more. Mizuki, Naruto, with all my heart, I ask for your forgiveness. I know that in your being there is only darkness, but I hope that in a part of you can forgive me for everything I did to you and all those times that I tortured you. Now I know what I must do and there is no going back. I have made many mistakes for more than 10 years, but it is time for me to pay for them. Kill me, he said without further ado while lowering his head. Tsubaki, wait, Naruto, I ask you, please don't kill him. I know he hurt you a lot and deserves to die. But please, we all deserve a second chance. We all deserve it. Please, yes, he said, trying to convince the blonde of what he was about to do. He just smiled, and without saying anything else he threw a punch with his dark fire, while everyone saw how he was slowly disintegrating until literally nothing remained of what was Mizuki the Chunin, who was killed due to his greed for power. This scene left many with sadness. All those who live in Konoha now realized what their actions transformed a small child into, that being full of pure evil. The civilians looked away. In the case of the shinobi, they were crestfallen by seeing that, and of course there were others who were more affected in that aspect. Minato, I'm an idiot, I'm the worst father in the world. How can I call myself Hokage if I'm not able to differentiate between my son and the fox? Many times I wanted to deny that possibility, all because of my hatred for what he did to my village. And now because of me, my son turned into this. he said sadly while crying silently. Kushina, it can't be. How was I able to do this? I'm a horrible mother. I don't deserve to be an Uzumaki. Even they themselves before everyone would have checked the seal. But I didn't do it because of the hatred I always had for him for tormenting me for years. Now he makes fun of me and for my actions, and now I have lost my son, my baby, I thought, crying all the same. Tsunade. My grandfather would be disappointed in me, my grandmother Mito and my parents must be as well, and the worst of all was that both Dan and Nawaki told me but I didn't listen, and now I not only lost the love of my life and my younger brother, but I also let my grandson be in the clutches of those monsters. I am a disgusting woman, she thought, crying. Kurosaki, maybe you're not a demon and you really are my sister, but I will still show that someone like you can never surpass me. Even if you are not, I swear that I will be the best in everything. I thought between, sad about what happened to her brother, and angry to see how he surpassed her while I was already thinking of many ways to do it. Jiraiya. First I messed up by abandoning Nagato, Yahiko, and Konan, and now because of my stupid way of thinking I let an innocent child suffer. They were right when they told me that I am trash that only thinks about herself. You are an idiot, Jiraiya said with a sad smile. Hiruzen, Master's first Lord Hokage, second Lord Hokage, forgive me for the sin of what I just did, but me being the oldest Hokage, I should have done something better for that little one. Instead I let my hatred for the death of my wife blind me, he said crestfallen. Kill me. I'm an idiot now. I just lost the boy I like, so I'll do everything possible to get you back. Even if you never felt anything for me, I'll make you remember the good times, I thought hopefully. The Kages along with their companions could not help but feel empathy for the boy because they did not like what had happened, and a certain red-haired Kage was reflecting on things while surreptitiously looking at his son, who now realized that his past actions were not correct. Naruto, this was a message from Konoha to every traitor who dares to turn their back on us will be punished by being tortured and killed. This message goes to everyone, even the Kages, who betray Konoha. I will kill them. I do not care if it is a Kage, a Chunin, Jounin, Genin, or even if it is a child or an old man. If you betray the village, rest assured that I will kill you first, completely eliminating your loved ones. And this is not a warning, it is a promise, he said with a dark smile while the silhouette of a demon was behind him, leaving many of those present even more terrified, while they decided to remain silent and just nod their heads while these, without saying anything, continued with the tests that follow, such as the combat tests in which, to summarize, Naruto ended up winning and was the Rookie of the Year. When everything was over, they were leaving the place. Naruto stood next to his teachers while he used his serious look, although then when they were about to leave, the Hokage came with his wife and daughter along with the rest of the Kages, being that the one who took the word of this whole matter was none other than the current Hokage. For what he spoke. Minato, listen very well, now we will have a meeting. Now Kages can accompany us with you, Daimyo Danzo, Orochimaru must come with Naruto. Now there is a matter that we must talk about urgently, he said seriously while looking at him. Without further ado, they all went to the council room where the clan leaders met along with some of their companions, and the daimyo himself was there while the blonde Kage spoke again to say the following. Minato, very well, I have called you all because Danzo Shimura, San and Orochimaru are arrested for experimentation and kidnapping towards my son Naruto. Uzumaki Namikaze Anbu's arrest them, he said, so that many of them surrounding them appear, and one was about to take the blonde when, without saying a single word, he cut off the entire arm of the Anbu who tried to touch him, while his screams of pain were heard, and without saying anything he threw the Anbu's arm who suffered from agony to the point of fainting, and he also killed with one blow each of the Anbus that were around him. Danzo. Good job, Naruto. So everyone realizes that he never lets his guard down even when he pretends to do so. And now returning to you, Minato, your accusation confuses me quite a bit here. I don't see any Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, and I didn't know you had another son, he said, looking around not seeing anyone. Tsunade, bastard, stop making fun of yourself, damn old man, obviously we're talking about him. It's obvious that you kidnapped him and subjected him to experiments so that he would be your weapon for the village. He's also the son of Minato and Kushina, don't forget that, she said angrily. Orochimaru, Kakuku, I'll correct you on that, Tsunade-chan, since if my memory serves me right, they recorded him as an orphan without a last name, and the one who adopted him was Danzo, that's why he has his last name and his experiments. We didn't force him. In fact, he did it all by himself, isn't it true? He said with a smile. Naruto. That's right, I looked for them because if Konoha taught me anything, it's that no matter what you do or how much you cry when you suffer, for them you are just a pawn in the crowd, and if not everyone sees me as a monster or a demon, then I will be the most powerful demon of all, the most powerful monster of all. The strongest weapon of all, he said in a dark voice, making everyone from Konoha lower their heads, knowing that they were setting a bad example, and it is worse that this example was shown in front of the daimyo and the other kages, who looked at them with more disgust than already, so everything remained silent until Danzo. But since we're talking about charges, I must report that Minato Namikaze must be removed from his position as Hokage and given to Orochimaru, who I believe is a better prospect than he said, to the greater surprise and some anger of some of those present. Shikaku, and can we know, Danzo, why Minato should be removed from his position as Hokage, and do you even have proof of that to back it up? He said seriously, although having a bad feeling about how all this would go, knowing what they have done. Danzo, good thing you said it, because the answer is quite simple. Since his mandate as the fourth Hokage, he has broken many important rules and the punishment is quite serious. Naruto, you can read them, he said, so that the aforementioned nods and takes out a large book. Naruto, rule imposed by Hashirama Senju, the first Hokage, which dictates in case there is a Jinchuriki in the village, his state's secret must remain secret to prevent enemies from discovering it. Rule imposed by his wife Mito Uzumaki in case a Jinchuriki is controlled by the beast inside him. An investigation must be done and a seal put that completely eliminates his mental control. Rule created by the second Lord Hokage Tobirama Senju if the identity of the Jinchuriki is discovered and someone dares to attack him. The punishment for this will be to be in Konoha prison for the rest of his life. These rules are given to each Hokage for generations. Minato Namikaze, did you perhaps read and obey any of these rules? Said coldly. Leaving those present completely silent, they were handing out the book, and indeed the rules were clear. They even had the signatures of the first and second Hokage along with that of his wife, while one of them spoke to say the following. Orochimaru, Kokuken not only did not comply with those important rules but was part of the mistreatment of Naruto-kun and taking the 10 years of mistreatment to say that all shinobi should be executed, and because of his recklessness he let the most powerful beast of all escape and he never realized, and even Hiruzen Sarutobi did nothing about it. Unlike them, I do see the difference between the fox and Naruto-kun. After all, what would a fox when pretending to be an innocent child? If he was really controlled, he would threaten to kill his son or simply escape, and would have caused destruction in his wake, he said with a smile. Hamura, that is what is still not clear to me, why the Kyuubi did not attack the Leaf Village when it was released from its seal, since I suppose that it must have a lot of hatred for them, or that is what I would do if I were locked up for so long, the old man asked, somewhat confused, while he seized them. Naruto, in the words of the Kyuubi, he wanted to make Minato Namikaze pay for locking him up, and what better way to mock him to his face and humiliate him in front of all the Kages that he was free and he didn't realize it. In exchange for helping him, he offered me his summoning contract. Now I can summon him whenever I want, along with other foxes. A summoning contract that only Madara Uchiha had access to until now, he said seriously. Anoki, and without a doubt it was and said about these rules, and I also respect my Jinchurikis who we take care of and train to use all the power of their bijou in all its splendor to be able to become friends. There are even times when I have spoken with them and they are pleasant to me, he said seriously. Reikage, I can say the same. My brother who is a Jinchuriki along with Yujito who is also one, we trained him so that between humans and bijou they work together as partners, and knowing what they did to him is somewhat disgusting to me, he said seriously. Raza, I must say it, and I will say it, I have not been a good father to my son who is also a Jinchuriki. I saw him as a weapon, a threat, but seeing this made me realize the mistake I saw in treating my son like this. That is why I ask you to give me an improved seal so that the bijou does not bother my son, and when it arrives I will make a law that no one can attack my youngest son because he will be publicly executed, he said to the surprise of his children. Daimyo, with what I've heard and seeing all this evidence, Danzo Shimura, your request will be more than accepted, but after the Chunin exams that this year we have, Orochimaru will become the new 4th Hokage while Minato you will be a substitute, while we do the paperwork, and all civilian heirs of clans that have positions will have to give Naruto An 80% discount in all their stores, plus each one will give 30,000 yen per clan and civilian to Naruto Shimura, not counting that if anyone tries to be smart he has the authorization to defend himself in the way he pleases and will not be punished, he said, to the horror of those present who tried to protest but were silenced by the murderous instinct of the dark-eyed blonde. Naruto, Kages, as a form of respect towards our new alliance, can stay tonight to spend the night in one of the most famous hotels of all, and I will treat your meals now that I have that privilege, said Stoic. Anoki, I see, thank you very much Naruto-san, and you don't have to apologize. With that, we understand your way of being and we understand that you were trying to give the message to the possible deserters, he said while the rest of the Kages nodded. Chapter 3. Now, after everything was clear in the council meeting, the daimyo went with his wife to resolve some pending matters. Meanwhile, Naruto invited the Kages to dinner with them at a somewhat expensive restaurant. So they all decided to wear something casual while they arrived at the meeting point, where they were waiting for the younger blonde, arriving wearing a sleeveless black shirt using his demonic mark. Naruto, I am very grateful that you have accepted my invitation, Kages companions. Now it is time to take you. I made a reservation at one of the best restaurants. Join me, he said, so that they nod and follow the boy. During the journey, many of the villagers who previously looked at him with hatred and many even attacked him with anything now only see him with pure fear towards him for having witnessed the death of Mizuki, along with the new rules that were established if they tried to do something. Raikage, wow, these are dark parts. I've never seen anything like this, not even in my village. There are parts like these, he said, observing a little the parts where they were somewhat damaged, full of dust, and you can notice an incredibly horrible smell. Naruto, this is a little of the lowest parts of Konoha, of the entire village. The most dangerous part is the red light districts. It is called that because in that place you always see blood or prostitutes. Only the strong survive, and you cannot trust anyone but yourself. Sometimes you have to make deals like selling yourself or stealing things, he said seriously. Yujito, I suppose you're talking about it because that's where you lived. By the way, Naruto, how was your life? We already know that all the villages mistreated you because of the stupidity of Yellow Lightning and Bloody Habanero. Even so, I would like to know more about that part, said the Jinchuriki of the Nibi, looking at him. Naruto, starting my life, the Yellow Lightning left me in an orphanage located in the red light districts. Every day I was mistreated, tortured by children and women until the woman threw me out of the place when I was very small. Since then I live in the forest. Every day the Hokages sent a mob of villagers to torture me, beat me. They were from elderly adults, children my age. Once they finished, they left me on the ground to die. If it weren't for the Kyuubi I would have died, but everything changed in one. They used knives, ninja weapons, even the Yellow Lightning used his kunais and wrote demon on my chest. The idiot did not know that time he released the Kyuubi, he said, lifting his shirt, scaring more than many to see that amount of scars and the word demon written. Kurasuchi, damn lightning. If before I hated him for what he did in my village, now I despise him for seeing what he did to his son. How is it that you don't hate him? How is it that you don't feel like killing him? If I were in your position I would tear his head off just by looking at him, she said angrily. Naruto, I feel nothing. What is true is that karma comes to every person in this world. You sow what you reap, and believe me that what is happening to the fourth Havenin of losing their titles is not even half of the karma that they will have in the future, and I will make sure that the karma will be slow and painful, he said with a dead voice. Gaara, I understand you more than you think, Shimura. Naruto, and there is a question I want to ask you. How did you manage to make that little bird explode when you came out? I must admit that even I was scared, he said seriously while looking at it. Naruto, I can really do it with any living being, not just animals, and how I do it is when I see a being I imagine it as if it inflates like a balloon. In the end I just tell them to shut up and they explode. I don't know how to explain it, really, how I do it, since even I don't know, said Stoic. And when everyone was about to reach their destination, which was a fine restaurant, they saw how a little redhead was running away while jumping while grabbing the blonde's leg while saying the following. Karma, Naruto and you have to help me. Some kids are bothering me. They say my hair is ugly, and they come here, he said, hiding behind him just so they can be heard and seen a group of kids older than them, while one of them says, Boy 1, damn, where is he? For a small boy, he's quite elusive. I don't understand how he got away from us if we had him practically under our noses, he said fruitily while looking at the rest of his friends. Older boy, That damn redhead escaped again, but I'll get even when I see him. You know what I'm going to do to him, he said, but he was interrupted by a murderous instinct that made him pee in his pants. Naruto, no, and I would like to know what you insolent brats are trying to do by messing with my younger brother, and if it's something bad, rest assured that I will send you to the same place I sent that fool Chunin, he said with a demonic voice that made the children run away. Karma. Ha 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 ha, and never come back, because if not, Naruto and I will do something to you. Thank you very much, little brother, he said, but his cheeks were pulled somewhat strongly by the blonde while he said the following. Naruto, nothing, little brother, now I want you to explain to me what you are doing out at this time. You should be asleep, little rascal. Why did you get into trouble, since I know very well that you love jokes, he said seriously. Karma, it wasn't my fault, Mama. Papa and Kurosaki went to eat ramen and they forgot to leave me something to eat, so I ran away. Then I did play some jokes on those kids, but that's what's funny, he said with a smile. Raza, I seriously don't understand how they allow them to be parents if they are so forgetful about those things, although, well, if we're talking about the parents who ruined the life of their firstborn, I'm not surprised, he said sighing. Karma, Naruto and I want to eat with you. You give me better food than Mom, who only gives ramen. I like it, but not to the point of eating it all the time. You give me more variety, he said with a tender pout that made the women look at him with tenderness. Naruto, you have no remedy, it's okay. What is true is that you will have to be with them and always remember to stay close to me at all times, and if someone says something to you, let me know so that I can leave him traumatized for life, he said while carrying her on his shoulders. Temari, it seems that you are a good older brother, and you don't hate him like your parents. That's good. I'm really glad that at least you have someone, he said with a smile, while he simply closed his eyes and said the following. Naruto, the duty of an older brother is to protect and love them, and if I hated them just for being children of the full lightning and habanero, I would not be different than them hating me for believing that I was the Kyuubi, and I do not have the brain of a peanut, he said seriously. Karma, nice to meet you. I'm Karma Uzumaki Namikaze, and this is my big brother, the best brother in the world. He has taken care of me more than my own parents and sister. Although Naruto and I, why can't I live with you? I want to follow in your footsteps and be as feared as you, he said somewhat angrily. Naruto, Karma, we already talked about that subject. As I told you once, every child has the choice to decide what he wants to be when he grows up. But I never had that choice because of Minato and Kushina's decisions. Darkness runs through my veins, thanks to that. Now I'm just an empty shell without emotions and my hands are stained with people's blood, but you can still change and be better than me, and one day you will be a great man, and no matter what you become, I will always be proud of you, he said with a small smile. The little one, upon hearing his words, simply hugged him with affection, while nodding his head, while the rest of those present were surprised to hear his words, but at the same time made everyone smile when seeing that scene. This brother, despite being 100% evil, doesn't want his brother to follow in his footsteps and to let him be whatever he wants to do. That brother earns my respect for being and acting that way. Yeah, brother, I thought as I looked at him. Gyuki, I say the same, he's a great older brother, even though it's true that inside him I only see darkness. I got to see a small tiny flash of light in his being. That makes me very happy, he said in the rapper's mind, observing the boy. Karma. By the way, Naruto and I have a question. Is any of these girls your girlfriend, or are all three your girlfriends? He said with pure innocence, while the girls blushed upon hearing his words and looked away. Naruto, we already talked about this, Karma. Don't ask questions out of the blue. And no, none of them are for now. I'm not really interested in those things. Now we have to go in. It's good that I brought food for you in case you came, he said while everyone went to the restaurant. After that, everyone entered the restaurant. At first, they didn't want to let them pass because of the little redhead, but just one look from the blonde demon was enough to make them understand that they had no choice. The food was good and everyone had a good time. After that, everyone went to their rooms and Naruto left Karma at home, promising that he would play with him one day. Time skipped 2 weeks later. It was a Monday morning and we can see a Naruto wearing his Anbu suit returning from an S-class mission while arriving at the offices where Danzo was, while he says the following in the same way he always does. Bloody demon. The mission was a complete success. Now with what happened, I have discovered a scroll that indicates the number of Uzumakis there are in the world. As you can see, Kushinas and Kurosakis are crossed out by the rules, and in total it seems that there are 8 Uzumakis. 2 of them are Taiya and Karen Uzumaki, who are with Orochimaru-sama. Another is Nagato Uzumaki, who is the one that the Sannin of the Toads left with his companions. The other 5 I don't know where they are, but I will find them, he said seriously. Danzo, excellent, take your pay, it will be very useful for the future. By the way, remember that today is where the genin teams are going to be. You must prepare yourself, boy, he said calmly while he watches him take off his mask while he tells him the following. Naruto. TKS, I don't understand why I have to attend that if I were to be a jounin. Being a genin will only be a total bore and meaningless. Besides, it doesn't matter what team they put me in. I want to see them all on a cliff with spikes and their bones tearing apart while they die of agony, he said somewhat angrily. Danzo, remember that you must mark your course as Naruto Shimura, and since the enemies see you as a genin you will have an advantage since they will underestimate you in combat, which is a great advantage for you. By the way, how is little Karma? He said looking at him. Naruto. He's training fine, he says he'll see you later and says he sees you as a grandfather, and from what I can see you have become fond of him just like Orochimaru-sama, something I never expected to see in my entire life, he said while putting on his usual clothes. Danzo, do you think that's a surprise? It's more yours. You care about him more than anything, just like me and Orochimaru. It seems that this child is special. Speaking of the heart of a warhawk, a serpent Sannin, and a merciless demon, he said with a small smile. Naruto, it's inevitable, Karma isn't like other children, despite being small, his way of thinking is even more advanced than any adult's, and at the rate he's going, he'll be able to escape from ninja traps. Being so small, he's so elusive. He's kind, serious, and mature when necessary, but I still want him to live the childhood that I couldn't live, he said sighing. Danzo, I say the same, I didn't live much of my childhood because of the war. Anyway, I have some things to do. See you later, my son. He said the last thing in a whisper before leaving, being heard by the blonde who put on a tiny smile and left anyway. As always, he arrived early because he knew perfectly well that he was going to be a 100% pain in the neck on the team he was on, but he had to put up with it. What if he kills an idiot, or even loses a part of his body? That's what he's allowed to do. He thought of several scenarios where he tortured them in different ways, which helped him stay calm. He noticed the presence of more people who were arriving to the room, but he did not take it very seriously, and just continued with his thoughts, analyzing many things in his mind. One of them was the reason why he has not felt any other unknown presence. Naruto, I wonder what happened to the goddess clan. I learned that the giants evolved into this inferior race of humans with chakra, but what happened to the goddesses? I've tried to feel the presence of some of them, but nothing. I don't feel the power of a fairy. What I do hope is that Ban and Escanor are okay. From what I could find out, Pride is still alive since I share a connection with Sunshin and a little of his power, and I know he still lives. But the fox is the one that worries me. I hope he's okay, he thought, sighing. Although his thoughts were interrupted because he felt like someone was talking to him, he didn't take it that seriously. He even felt like a kunai tried to hit him, but when it hit his skin the kunai broke. He continued to the point where it was somewhat annoying, so he was already angry. Opening his eyes showing an infinite darkness, he said, Naruto, very well, that's what you want, and if you throw a kunai at me again, you can be sure that what happened to Mizuki will be a field day because of what awaits you if someone doesn't tell me what the hell is going on, he said with a dead voice. Chuji, Akumi tried to talk to you many times but you didn't respond. She got sad. Kurosaki was insulting you so you would pay attention, and when it didn't work she started throwing kunai at you and then Kiba did it, and Shikamaru said trembling with fear. Naruto, I see you're not that stupid fatso. As for the other thing, listen to me well, Uchiha, if you do that again the same goes for you. Uzumaki, Inozuka and Nara do that again, and each of you will lose a part of your body, he said coldly. Kyumi, wait please, I just want us to talk like old times, you know, when we were together, when we were boyfriends, don't you remember? Naruto, we still are, we haven't broken up, she said nervously by the look he gives her. Naruto, I don't understand what's wrong with you. You said it yourself in the exams, you only used me to make fun of me and humiliate me. What I told you and what you told me was just a silly joke for you and a stupid experiment for me. That's over. We never had anything. Now leave me alone before I give your mother the parts of you as gifts. He said so that his eyes shine intensely. Shikamaru, hey Naruto, you should calm down, please. I think you can relax and be able to chat like civilized people, he said nervously, still remembering what he did with Mizuki. That scene is engraved in his nightmares, like that of many others. Naruto, since when do you tell me, Naruto, that he wasn't a demon? I prefer that you call me that way, it sounds less hypocritical than what you are doing. Now I can read everyone's emotions here, and it makes me sick just feeling them. None of you would have told me my name because I was always the demon for you, and now that you know that I am not the Kyuubi, that suddenly we are friends. But you all, how stupid do you have to be to not differentiate between a bijou and its container? And I think that your clan, the term genius is too big for you, Nara of shit, and you, Inozuka. Your clan that is known for their sense of smell. Why didn't you smell my scent to see if I didn't smell like a fox, or the Hyuga who boast so much about their Byakugan? Did anyone see my chakra flow, and see if it was that of a human or that of the fox, or how about the Yamanaka? None of it occurred to me to enter my mind to verify what that fool Minato said, not as good lapdogs without conscience and use of reason. They paid attention. Now close all your damn mouths, I want peace in this class, he said, activating his killer instinct. Silencing everyone present who were not able to question any of his words, so they simply remained silent without saying anything. But there was no shortage of an idiot who wanted to act brave, or rather someone who wanted to dig her grave. Kurosaki, stupid idiot, maybe you are not the Kyuubi, but you must have respect for me, and more being your sister, your duty is to attack anyone who bothers me. Now I order you to return with Kiyomi said arrogantly. Although with a quick movement he saw how he gave her a powerful kick in the stomach that made her fall to the floor while he stepped on her, and puts on an arrogant smile for seeing this while he tells her the following. Naruto, you don't know how long I've waited for this. You know why I didn't want to use my power of darkness was to leave you completely humiliated in the middle of 3 Kages and the daimyo, and to make it clear no matter what you do or how many things you try or what power you have, you will always be under my feet, and no matter what happens to you. For me, 3 men grape you together for 1 week and then leave you like the hitch you are, so you die of agony. You heard right, brat, he said with an arrogant smile. Many wanted to go help her, but they knew that if they did they would end up like her, stepping on her to the point of leaving her fainting while she drew a little blood, which she didn't care about, so he went to his seat and closed his eyes. Others tried to act brave and full of anger, which was the case of Kiba along with his dog Ino and Hinata, but they were not able to move, while they only trembled, trying to move without much success. Irika, Hinata, Ino, Kiba, stop dancing, you look like zombies. Now go to your seats. For now, I congratulate those who passed the test. Many of you excelled during the graduation, and you can be sure that it will be very well remembered throughout Konoha. However, it is time to make the teams with the senseis. Team 7 Kurosaki Uzumaki Namikaze, Sasuke Uchiha, Kiyomi Uchiha, Naruto Shimura, Yakumo Kurama senseis Anko Mitarashi Kakashi Hatake and Kushina Uzumaki. Team 8 Kiba Inozuka, Shino Aburame, Hinata Hyuga Sensei Kurina Yui. Team 10 Shikamaru Nara, Ino Yamanaka, Chuji Akimichi Sensei Asuma Sarutobi. Chuji, wait a moment sensei, why does Team 7 have 3 senseis? He asked with doubt like some, although some were completely jealous of what was happening, while he told them the following. Irika, well, the Hokage wanted it that way. I didn't choose you. If it were up to me, it wouldn't have happened to many of you who only think about your foolish arrogance, or even many of you who don't even know how to do anything, and I'm telling you until now because since I'm not your sensei I can be sincere with you, and it was a great relief for me. Now I'm leaving because I have better things to do than be with arrogant spoiled brats, he said, leaving. The minutes passed and many of them were leaving due to the arrival of their sensei. Among them, many of them wanted to go apologize to Naruto for what happened in the past, but it only took a small murderous instinct from the blonde to make them want to go on vacation hanging out. The sensei didn't arrive, and that was already driving a certain spoiled girl crazy, along with a certain group of spoiled ones. Meanwhile, the emo Avenger was reading a dark-covered book. Kiyomi, brother, there is something I have had this doubt about for a while. It is that book. For a few weeks now, you have been reading it so much that you no longer pay much attention to it, and to other things, she said, looking confused at her brother. Sasuke, Ah, this is just a novel that I'm reading. It's called The Sin of War. It's a story of loneliness, drama, mystery, pain, betrayal. It's about a boy who was born in the middle of a war of a love of two both opposites who died for the sin of bringing their son, and he searches for his purpose in life while since he was little he had to kill to survive. Since both sides want him dead, it's interesting. In fact, it has 20 parts, and this is book number 3. It's interesting, he said, still reading. Naruto, so you read it too, huh? Me too. And that's because my master Lord Orochimaru was the one who invented that story, and I'm also reading it. He has many other books on different topics that might interest you. There's one called Gluttony of Power. I have an extra copy. Here, he said, throwing it to him, and he catches it, and nods as he starts reading again. Kurosaki, I can't believe this. Since when do you two get along? Don't tell me you're friends. You're really pathetic, ha 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 ha, he said mockingly while looking at the two boys, who simply said the following. Sasuke, don't talk nonsense. I'm friends with a dope like him, yes or no, just because he's the least irritating in the class along with Shino, and we agree that the two of them are annoying hitches. I hope they kill them both. Doesn't mean we're friends, he said seriously. Naruto, as the emo Avenger said, even though we both can't stand either of them, he may be a bucking arrogant guy and can be somewhat annoying. But since he has good reading taste and hates them both, it makes him less unbearable, to the point where he would be the second to last person he would think of killing in this shitty village, he said, still with his eyes closed. They could have continued talking if it weren't for the door opening, showing a silver-haired man being dragged by a redhead, while a purple-haired woman and a brown-haired girl with a serious look were standing there. Kushina, I'm sorry I was late. What happens is that first I had to go through this lazy guy so he would arrive a little early, then we had to go through her, she said with a smile while looking at them. Although suddenly, without anyone being able to see his movement, they saw how Naruto, using his sword placed near Kakashi's neck on the ground while raising his aura in a rather intimidating way while he says the following. Naruto, we meet again, new Anbu dog. Don't think I didn't recognize your disgusting essence. I warned you what I would do to you if we saw each other again, that I would kill everyone you love. Well, be sure that I will fulfill it. First I will kill you in the slow and painful way possible, and then I will give your head to the full yellow lightning as a warning if he messes with me again, he said with a dead voice while looking him coldly in the eyes. I forgot to say that the scarecrow, I mean the dangerous one, was scared because of the great aura he felt in the boy who, for his age, felt a thirst for blood that he had never felt in anyone else, and that he had been in a war. Kushina, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, I order you as your mother to leave Kakashi alone, or otherwise you will be punished in your room, she screamed, while her hair formed 9 tails, thinking that with that he was going to listen to her, but Kushina, hhhhhhhhhhhhh, she said, receiving several cuts all over her body while she falls to her knees bleeding completely, making her daughter immediately take her, all scared to see the amount of wounds she received. Naruto, let it be clear to you, menstruation hitch, that if it were up to me I would sell you for 1 cent in the red light districts to horrible men who will use you as their sexual hitch until death while I watch you suffer slowly along with everyone you love. On top of that, you ruined my life since my bucking birth, and it is thanks to you and your stupid husband that I am a demon without emotions. And now you want to send me around as if we were something. I don't even have your disgusting DNA, even though you know that good that you are here now. I can make the fool of the yellow lightning suffer by killing 2 people he loves, ha 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 ha, he said evilly while his mark began to grow a little. But suddenly he feels someone hugging him, being Anko Mitarashi herself, who hugs him, putting her breast somewhat close to his face due to the boy's size, making a certain Uchiha jealous of seeing that. Anko, Naruto-kun, please be good and leave them. Remember what Orochimaru Odo-san said, that when you use your mark you can't let yourself be carried away by negative emotions or you will lose control of yourself, he said with a smile without feeling afraid of the killer instinct that emanated from the younger blonde. Naruto, if it's about these idiots, I don't mind losing control of myself, but he was interrupted when he felt the woman hug him even more between her breasts while she angrily said the following. Anko, if you don't do it, I won't let you go at all. I don't care if you drown, and I will steal all your reserve beers that you have hidden. Did you understand me, including those from the other hiding place that you thought I wasn't aware of, but I did say with a pout. Naruto, TKS, well, you saved yourself, Anbu dog. Maybe he won't kill you today, but watch your back because you never know when someone will cut your neck or slice your head off. Anyway, I suppose Lord Orochimaru-sama made you sensei so you don't kill those two, he said, receiving a nod from the woman. Anko, well guys, now we have to go to the roof. I'll wait for you there. By the way, Kakashi, change your pants because it's clear that you peed yourself in fear. And someone take Kushina to the Konoha hospital, she said, but was interrupted. Kurosaki, moment, how can he be like that? I demand that you punish that fool for attacking my mother. I order you, as the daughter of the fourth Hokage shouted angrily and arrogantly, all of that being crushed by the woman who said the following. Anko, first of all, with the announcement Minato will no longer be the fourth Hokage. Second, they cannot punish him. The daimyo gave Naruto authorization to attack anyone who bothers him in any way he pleases, and he would not be punished. And you are lucky because he could even cut off an arm and still not receive a single punishment, and if I were you I would take her before she dies from bleeding out, and I don't care if she dies, but I see that you did say bored. While she nods angrily and leaves. With that said, everyone went to the rooftop. Of course Naruto arrived quickly before everyone else while his eyes were closed, although he was still hugged by her. While he was already a little angry, he said the following. Naruto, Anko, let me go, for God's sake. I don't understand why you still have that childish attitude that you always have with me. It hasn't changed during the years that you've been doing this, and you don't know how much I hate it when you do it, he said, sighing, annoyed by how the woman acted. Anko, say what you want, but for me, even if you put on that angry face along with your cold, emotionless gaze, for me you will always be my little teddy bear that I can hug whenever I want. Did you hear me? She said with a smile. Kyomi, excuse me, Anko-sensei, but I would like to know what kind of relationship you have with Naruto-kun since he does not let himself be hugged like that, she said, trying to hide her jealousy, although it was clear in her angry voice because not even when they were a couple did she let him hug him. Anko, he's been my little brother for many years, even with his unfriendly attitude, he is and always will be my little one, the one I'm going to take care of even if he doesn't want to, and only I can hug him whenever I feel like it. And he knows what happens if he doesn't obey, she said with a smile. Kakashi, leaving that aside, I think it's time to introduce ourselves. Tell us the things you like, the things you dislike, your dreams, etc. Do you have any questions about it? He said in a bored tone, reading an orange-covered book. Yakumo, you know, being the sensei, you should set an example of something like this since you are going to train us, so to speak, since from what I see, you just want to masturbate while watching your cheap porn, she said seriously. Sasuke, I agree, my mother told me about those orange books and says that those who read them are people who are not satisfied with their hex life. How disgusting, how can they read this? This novel is better than that pure hex crap, he said, even with his book. Naruto, it shouldn't surprise you who created it was none other than the Sannin of the Toads, who is a pervert in every rule. He creates that garbage in order to satisfy his null hexual life because he still has the foolish idea that one day he is going to hook up with the Senju cow when she has rejected him more times than she has had an erection in her life, and she takes advantage of that advantage to always have a punching bag available that she can hit whenever she wants, and thus alleviate her depression in betting. And I speak for everyone when I say that the Sannin of the Snakes is the most powerful among the three, not only for his strength, but in his maturity, he said, receiving nods from everyone. Even Kakashi had to accept that. Kakashi, alright guys, it's time to introduce myself. I'm Kakashi Hatake. I have many likes and dislikes, and I have almost none of my hobbies, and I haven't thought about a dream for the future, he said, bored. Anko, my turn, I am Anko Mitarashi. My likes are eating dangos and bothering my little brother. My perverted dislikes are the idiot people of Konoha, which is basically 99% of the population. My hobbies are being in the torture department and listening to their suffering until they die. And my dreams for the future are having more torture methods for my amusement, she said with a sadistic and excited smile. Sasuke, I am Sasuke Uchiha. My likes are reading these real-life books and tomatoes, my dislikes are everything in general, and my dream for the future is to take revenge on a certain person, he said in a dark tone while everyone sees him. Yakumo, I am Yakumo Kurama. My likes are painting the beauty of the world and eating dangos. My dislikes are of course the people who do not understand the great beauty of art, and the people who judge a book by its part, and by rumors. My dream is to create the painting that reveals the true feelings of a person," she said seriously. "Kyomi. I am the all-powerful and heiress of the Uchiha clan Kyomi Uchiha. My likes do not matter, my dislikes either, and my dreams to be the most powerful kunoichi and marry a certain person," I thought, looking sideways at the blonde. "Naruto. I am Naruto Shimura. My likes are drinking beer, killing idiot civilians in the most painful and slow way possible, and listening to the pleas of their families. My dislikes are everyone in general except for 4 people, and my goal is to be the best and most powerful weapon of Konoha, and to be the most powerful demon of all," he said in a dark and gloomy tone. "Enko. Well, now we are supposed to evaluate how strong you are, although I know the true power of 2 of you who would be Naruto-kun and Yakumo-chan, and the stupid scarecrow will want to teach you a silly lesson of teamwork but held that is learned in real life, so tomorrow we will start a training created by me, I hope, and do not die," said to leave in a sunshine. "Naruto, now that she's gone, if you're done watching us, nosy yellow lightning along with the senile old man of the third, the perverted toad and the urgent old woman, I know perfectly well that you've been watching us since the academy. If you think that by spying on me you're going to get something, then go buck yourselves, urgent idiot, and if you're listening to me, Sannin of the Whistle and Sannin of the Mad Cows, everything I said about each one of you is true and I don't give a shit," he said, raising his middle finger mockingly. "Sasuke, so he's spying on us, damn Minato Namikaze, he wants to have us under his radar. Well, I'm not going to allow it. I have to be stronger, and Danzo Shimura will help me with that, along with what you told me, Naruto. But I have to pretend," I thought seriously. "Yakumo. I'm not surprised that he does it, after all, being the student of the perverted Sannin. We shouldn't be surprised that he has a strange fetish of getting excited seeing Genin. It disgusts me. Better let's eat, and I'll put a genjutsu so they don't see us," he said, so that the blonde and the emo nod and leaving the older Uchiha alone, who, because she was distracted, was left alone like an idiot in the Hokage Tower. And just as Naruto said, we can see in the tower Minato Namikaze along with Tsunade Senju, Jiraiya and Hiruzen Sarutobi. They were watching Team 7, listening to all their conversations, while one of them spoke to say the following. "Tsunade. I don't really believe it. Orochimaru, the author of all these novels, I've heard of them. They've even been sold at the stand in many distant villages. Who would think he was the author?" he said, surprised. Jiraiya. "It can't be Orochimaru, even in that he has surpassed me quite a bit. But even so, my novels are much better if they were never compared," he said, believing his own lie that it was true until someone spoke up. "Hiruzen, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but if what Naruto said is true, then his novels are of international rank and all the villages have read them, while yours barely read them, and only a few people," said, breaking the white-haired man's bubble of pride. Then they arrived at the part where the senseis arrived, from how Naruto attacked Kakashi, what Kushina told him, and how he left her hurt with several cuts on her body added to what he said, and Enko said, "While you hear, Tsunade, damn brat, how can you do that to your own mother? I'm going to beat you up. Let's see if you understand by that," she screamed angrily, but suddenly she wasn't able to move and she felt all her strength going away. "Minato, I'm a horrible father. I think it wasn't the best idea to put her as part of the team. I wanted to do it with the objective of her trying to socialize with him, but I didn't think it would come to something like that, much less recognize Kakashi from his mask," he said sadly. "Jiraiya, you don't have to feel this way. It's all Danzo and Orochimaru's fault. If it weren't for them, I'm sure he would have forgiven them and they would have become a family again," he said confidently to try to calm his student. However, all that went to hell when he heard a voice. "Orochimaru, Kakuku, yes of course, and Tsunade is madly in love with you, and I thought you couldn't be more stupid, but you have surpassed yourself in that, Jiraiya-kun, in all aspects," he said with a smile. "Danzo, besides, we told you that we did not approve of the idea of Kushina and Kakashi being part of Team 7 because Hitaki is a terrible teacher and Kushina stopped being a ninja a long time ago. She is not the shadow of what she was in the past, but you acted behind our backs. Another fault that we should tell the daimyo. Remember that you are no longer the 4th Hokage. They are even removing your face from the monument," he said calmly. "Hiruzen, so I approved him, although to be honest I'm already regretting having done so, but it seems that Anko can keep him calm, although I didn't know he drank beer, and for his age, drinking it isn't a bad thing, he said, surprised. Orochimaru, Kokuku has been doing it for a long time. He says it's one of the few pleasures in life that he can have for what he takes, and I must say he has more resistance than anyone I've ever met, he said with a smile. Then they got to the part where they get on while listening to what he says about Jiraiya and Tsunade, and about Orochimaru being the best Sannin, even saying insults and swear words that left the aforementioned angry, and a snake laughing like crazy. Danzo, you don't have to get angry, it's the truth, you are both pathetic, you have very noticeable weaknesses. If Jiraiya wants to seduce a woman, he does it like an idiot and falls into a trap, and Tsunade drinks so much that if they serve her alcohol and she gets drunk, they defeat her in 2 seconds because they both have the 3 prohibitions that a ninja should not have: alcohol, being seduced by pretty girls, and betting money, he said seriously. Moving on to the introductions and then hearing Naruto's, everyone except Orochimaru and Danzo were sad to see how their actions turned that child, but that passed into shock knowing that the whole time he knew he was watching them, and what he said to their faces and his actions. Hiruzen, wow, I never thought Naruto could say all those swear words. What kind of teachings are you giving them? Orochimaru said, trying to blame him for it, but he shut him up with what he said the following. Orochimaru, Kokuku, both you and I know that he didn't learn that from me. After all, living in the red light districts, he hears words like those frequently, so it's no surprise that he knows them, and I'm proud of him for what he told you to your face. Let's see if with that you can see your weaknesses, because as long as you continue like this, you will always be miserable, he said with a smile. When he said that, the two left the place, leaving Minato sighing sadly, seeing how his biggest mistake in his life was now costing him dearly. Tsunade and Jiraiya thought the same, so in the end they went to see how Kushina was doing. Chapter 4. It's been 1 month since Team 7 was formed. Since then things have been hectic for many because as their sensei was Anko, she put them in training many times where there were traps, obstacles, and she wasn't merciful with any of them, but Naruto was able to withstand her heavy training. On the other hand, Kakashi himself, in terms of teaching, only gave them a typical phrase that he says in each canon, and in terms of training, he gave them basic training, and it didn't help that he was always late and was a complete lazy person, and Kushina, after recovering from her injuries, tried to have a relationship with her son. First he wanted them to have a sword duel. He denied it, saying that she was not worthy of having a sword battle with him. Then he wanted to teach her the art of sealing, discovering that her level was even higher than his, saying that Orochimaru was the one who taught her. Because of that he only wanted to teach it to Kurosaki, leaving Yakumo, Kiyomi and Sasuke, which didn't really bother them that much. Yakumo went with Sasuke to the Uchiha clan to be trained by Mikoto Uchiha, who has a better knowledge of Genjutsu, and even gave her her own diet, improving in hand-to-hand combat, having an improvement in it. There was even a time when he asked them to fight with all their power against them, a serious mistake because for Naruto that was like being in an amusement park. It was something conscious with Anko, but with Kushina and Kakashi he didn't have a single bit of what is called mercy. He even found a way to make him suffer by burning his orange-covered book in front of him while crushing it, mentally damaging the gray-haired man, which was just the icing on the cake for him, and left Kushina so injured that if it weren't for Tsunade who took her in time she would have died. Of course, Kurosaki tried to attack him, but her steps and movements were held back by a force that she herself was unaware of. After that they did pure D-rank missions as the rules dictated, although that was a good amount of money they had. But it didn't mean that it was tedious for them, especially for Naruto, who finished things quickly to then do high-ranking missions being in Anbu, something that no one else knows. Present. At this moment they were about to have a C-rank mission with their team. It was easy to take a builder to their village. They gave him this day to prepare for the moment weekend in the Uchiha complex where Kiyomi was preparing everything for the day of her mission while going down the stairs. Kiyomi, hi mom. I'm ready to go on my first mission outside of Konoha. By the way, where is Sasuke? He knows that we can't be late for this important thing, because they're sure to be waiting for us, he said, looking at the woman. Mikoto, well daughter, in fact your brother left before you. He had already planned his suitcase in case they have it, and he left about 15 minutes ago, daughter, he said to the surprise of the girl who spoke. Kiyomi, hey mom, I have a question. haven't you noticed Sasuke is acting strange lately? He's been acting strangely, which he usually always acts like, or is it just me? She said thoughtfully while looking into her eyes. Mikoto, daughter, you know that for Sasuke things have not been easy after your father's actions in wanting to overthrow the Hokage after having taken some land from us. Since then, he has a small hatred for Minato, and without counting that when the clan did not choose him as the heir of the clan and they chose you, he has always wanted to show his worth, although lately he has been calm and serene. I have not seen him as arrogant as before, and he has taken a liking to reading books, and I have also felt him more distant from us. He does not even speak to me anymore. Before we spent more time together, but now nothing, and I do not know why. He said something sad. Itachi, I understand this is how it is since that day. Honestly, I didn't give it much importance at the beginning, but now I see that maybe it's something a little serious, he said, appearing in the room while someone says, Kill me, what are you talking about? Since that day, perhaps you know something that we don't know, dear brother. Do you think you can tell us more about what happened? She said with doubt while she looks at him, just like her mother, waiting for her answer. Itachi, this happened exactly 1 week after the Genin exam ended. Naruto went to give me some things that Danzo asked him to give them, then Sasuke challenged him to a duel. At first he refused until he insisted so much that in the end he accepted. Flashback 1 week after Genin graduation. We see outside in the courtyard where there was a Sasuke who was in a fighting pose, and at the other end we see a Naruto with a disinterested look while his shoulders were crossed waiting to finish this. Sasuke, now it's time for our rematch. Get ready because I won't hold back with you, he said, activating his eyes while launching himself in a combat style against him with great strength according to him. Although it was no problem for him to block his attacks, he even took out kunais and shurikens. But when they hit his body they broke completely into thousands of pieces, quite frustrating the traumatized emo. Naruto, that's all, what a mediocre level you have, and you're supposed to be an Uchiha. Even Itachi would be able to move at least an inch compared to you. You're just garbage, he said, yawning, increasing the Uchiha's anger. Sasuke, damn, how is this happening to me? I'm supposed to be an elite Uchiha from Konoha. I refuse to believe that I can lose to a nobody like you, he said angrily while watching him. Naruto, I'll tell you this, the Uchihas don't give a damn about me. As you've seen, I'm superior to you in every way, even in our fight during the graduation. I just had to knock you out so easily, and all of this being seen by the rest of the Kages and the daimyo. What an elite Uchiha who hasn't even released the 3 blades, he said seriously. Sasuke, shut up, you're just a stone in my way. Once I repeal you, I'll repeal everyone and become the heir of the Uchiha clan and show those fools in my clan that I deserve TOB, so he shouted, attacking him with total fury. But with a quick movement Naruto put a key directly on Sasuke, trapping him while he had him against his back, and looked at him with his cold face and spoke while saying, Naruto, Sasuke, maybe you are an arrogant man who believes he is an elite Uchiha, but I know why he is so obsessed with making you the heir of the clan, he said seriously while he was about to say something. At that, Naruto begins to whisper a few words to Sasuke that made him open his eyes in surprise while he slowly released him, and was still somewhat in shock by what happened, something that Itachi noticed, who approached and said the following. Itachi, Sasuke, is everything okay? He said, looking at his brother, who normally would have an angry look, but now his look was completely calm, which surprised him while he said the following. Sasuke, it's okay Naruto, I accept that I'm not stronger than you. The truth is that you're right, my attitude wasn't going to make me improve. If I want to improve I must become stronger. That's why I would like to be trained by someone. Do you think you know someone? He said calmly, visibly surprising Itachi, not believing what he heard. Naruto, yes, I know someone, but I warn you that his training will make you wish for death. If you really feel ready for this, then go to this location, he said, handing him a piece of paper while he nods his head and the blonde leaves. Itachi, I'm sure you're okay. What did Naruto tell you to make you behave in such a strange way? He said with doubt while looking at his brother, who for the first time completely ignored him and left the place. End of flashback 1 week after Genin graduation. Itachi, since then he acts like this. Before he talked to me and now he is much more distant than before. He leaves the house, He does not say where he goes, and many times he does not even sleep at home, and although I tried to use my Sharingan, I have not deciphered those words that he said to him, and I have the feeling that Danzo is behind this," he said seriously. "Mikoto, it's what I feared. It's more than clear that Orochimaru and Danzo made Naruto a weapon, taking advantage of his hatred for Konoha. Now they will do the same with Sasuke, and I can't do anything," she said, almost crying silently as her son looked into her eyes. "Itachi, I know it hurts you, but I will do everything possible to avoid that. Kill me, you must go, or else it will be late. Just be careful with Naruto and the Umbus. He is feared for his power. Even I know that I have no chance against him, so whatever you do, do not anger him. He can kill you and no one can avenge your death," he said seriously. "Kill me, brother, you have nothing to worry about. Besides, I know it may not seem like it, but I know that deep down Naruto-kun has a noble side to his being, and I know that he loves me. After all, he is my boyfriend," he said with confidence in his voice. "Mikoto, daughter, maybe 10 years ago that was an innocent child despite everything that happened, but things changed. He is not the same anymore, and that was proven at the Genin graduation. I remember that your father was one of the few people who always saw him as a human, because when he showed it, your father used his eyes to see inside, seeing clearly that he was not. However, the Hokage never believed him and began to blame us because a masked Uchiha used his eyes to control the Kyuubi and attack Konoha, and because of that they took away all our territories apart. Even when you brought him here, it will sound cruel, but I saw it in his eyes. He does not love you, but not because you are not attractive, but he does not know that meaning since nobody taught him that," she said seriously. "Itachi, another thing, whatever you do, never take the sword that he always has on his back. The last one who tried to take it from him ended up completely dead. Nobody knows, but he never lets go of it, not even for a second," he said seriously. She was somewhat confused and only nodded as she left her house while running directly to where the location was, and when she arrived she could see up close where Naruto, Sasuke, and Yakumo were, along with Enko and the builder Tazuna, who were waiting for him. "Enko, wow. So you finally arrived safely. It's been 3 hours now. I think it's a good time to go." "With pleasure. We have to go, Mr. Tazuna, since we're running late," she said, so that the aforementioned nodded his head. "Kill me. Wait a moment, Enko-sensei. There is still Kushina-sensei, Kakashi-sensei, and Kurosaki who have not arrived yet, so I say that we should wait for them," she said angrily while looking at the four. Then the one who spoke now was the client. "Tazuna, brat, we've been waiting for about 3 hours, and what kind of shinobi takes so long on a mission? They know that with that they give a bad reputation to their village?" he said somewhat angrily, silencing the aforementioned. "Sasuke, it is also well known that Kakashi Hatake is famous for arriving late, and all because he is watching his cheap porn, and they arrive late, and they excuse themselves by saying that they are the wife and daughter of the Hokage when they are not even that anymore," he said seriously. "Naruto, I also spoke with Lord Orochimaru, and he clearly said that the one in charge of the mission would be Enko-san, and if she decides that we should leave, then we have to leave immediately. If we take any longer, we will only make ourselves look bad," said Stoic Yakumo, "not counting that if you don't do it, you are disobeying the orders of a jounin, that is, your superior, so it is a very serious offense, and more was expected from the Uchiha heiress and the daughter of Mikoto-sensei," she said seriously while she sees her. Then someone speaks to say, "Enko, and if you have a problem, then go ahead, wait for them. It's more than likely that they will take another 3 hours, and we can't waste time now. We're going," he said to leave with the builder, leaving the Uchiha completely alone, not knowing what to do. With the rest they left for the land of waves, where along the way Naruto was attentive to something that was happening, although he did not show it with his stoic attitude. While Sasuke was reading his book, hiding his sight without knowing that he had activated his Sharingan as a way to make the enemy believe that he had his guard down, and Yakumo was equally calm at the moment, keeping her serious face. After a long time traveling they saw a puddle, so Enko looked at the three, who nodded. So the moment Enko stepped on it, some chains took the woman, and she ended up dead while 2 renegade ninjas appeared. "Brother Demon 1, listen very well, brats. Give us the builder or you will suffer the same fate as your sensei. It will be better that you give it to us immediately," he said seriously, although his arrogance was quite noticeable while he seized them. Although suddenly the whole place was changing in a grotesque way, while it looks like the world was completely strange, while these were surprised, while the other realized something, only for him to speak to his brother and tell him the following. "Brother Demon 2, curse, they just put us in a genjutsu. How is it possible? We never realized, if I remember correctly. We have to free ourselves. Pass me chakra please, he said, but when trying to do it, they weren't able to do it. Naruto, we are trapped in a world where none of you can do anything and you are my new toys that I will make suffer until your death, then you will revive to torture you again infinitely. Now let the fun begin. Of course my fun, ha 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 ha, he said with a sadistic smile. They were trapped in an endless cycle, being tortured, killed in different ways, then they came back to life again over and over and over again in the real world. Only 3 seconds passed in which they stood still and then began to scream, beg, babble to the point of dying of a mental breakdown, and when that happened Anko came out with a smile while telling them the following. Anko, I congratulate you all. I really want you to tell me how you left them in such a pitiful state that they even begged for it to stop. I loved it, she said with an excited smile, while someone said, Sasuke, simple Yakumo, and I created an illusion based on my brother Itachi's Sharingan technique. Tsukuyami consists of Yakumo putting you in a world where you are trapped in time, where all the events they see and feel in real life, thanks to her sending said illusion to my eyes that synchronized to generate it, he said calmly. Yakumo, and as an extra bonus I managed to get Naruto into the world where he was torturing and reviving them for 3 whole weeks, but here only 3 seconds passed and apparently they couldn't hold out much longer, he said with a smile. Naruto, and I accepted. I was able to have fun for a good time with those idiots. They were very good toys and I think I'm in a very good mood, although I want to have more fun. I want to make more of these idiots suffer, he said sadistically, still remembering what he did. Anko, I'm very glad, and before you ask, I was already aware that this mission must be a B rank because those were Chunin, and I know what's going on with you with the cat mobster issue, and don't worry, we'll go. What is that? We will keep half of the money from the lands that cat manages to put in, she said calmly. Tazuna, thank you very much indeed, and after seeing this display of skills I have no doubt that you will help us save my entire village from that bastard cat. Really thank you, he said with a happy smile as he seized them. When they were walking for a while, still watching the builder, they walked for a while until they heard a strange sound, which everyone immediately noticed. Sasuke hit Tazuna so that he fell while everyone ducked except Naruto, who received the sword that didn't even cut him, and just took it. I didn't expect that. You're the second one not to be cut by my sword. That's impressive, boy. Unfortunately for you, now I have to finish you off and then I'll finish off that builder. It's nothing personal. But this is just for business, another voice said. Naruto, this is unexpected. I never thought we would meet again, but that sword confirms it. Zabuza Momochi, one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist, said seriously as he threw it at a tree. Although when he said that, suddenly several rays began to fall that went directly towards the builder, being blocked by a wall of earth by Anko, while another voice is heard. Sasuke, if one of the 7 swordsmen of the Mist Village is here, then it means that this attack was at the hands of another member of the 7, and only one member can control lightning like that. Raiga Kurasuki, wielder of the lightning Kiba sword, said, observing the present. Zabuza, I'm surprised that a brat like you knows me, and I don't understand what you're talking about. This is the first time you and I have seen each other, although that doesn't matter. It will be the last time we see each other because this day will be your death, he said seriously while looking at him. Raiga, these are the protectors of this old man. I must admit that I know the woman. After all, she is the student of one of the legendary Sannin Orochimaru, a shinobi of Jounin elite rank. Hey Zabuza, I want to face her. I want to see what she is capable of, he said with a smile. Zabuza, do what you want, Raiga, but remember that our objective is to kill the elder. Those were Gato's orders. I will take care of the blonde brat who, as I see, does not seem to be a normal boy, and something tells me that I know him from somewhere else, he said seriously. Anko, okay guys, this is the plan. I will face Raiga. Naruto, you go for Zabuza. Meanwhile, Yakumo and Sasuke have a duty to protect the builder, since we do not know how many more will come for the Lord, and you must protect him, said seriously. Naruto, you know it's been a while since I used this, and it's good that I was waiting for this because I think he can really play as my enemy, he said while taking another sword directly from his chest while looking at him with a smile. While Anko threw a large snake directly at Raiga that sent him flying to another side of the place, and a very intense fight began. On the other hand, Naruto was clashing his swords with Zabuza, who was having trouble keeping up with him. Zabuza, your fighting style is impressive, boy, although at the same time it seems familiar to me. I feel like I must have met you before. But where, did he say while throwing a slash while he ended up dodging it as if it were nothing. Naruto, you still can't recognize me, you're as distracted as the last time we saw each other. At that time I told you that you shouldn't let your guard down in front of an enemy, but you didn't listen to me, he said, raising his intimidating aura, leaving the man paralyzed. Zabuza, what is this? I can't move, wait, this killer instinct, I've never felt before, so powerful, so malignant, like that of a true demon, those eyes that just by looking at them you see hell, that sword he has on his back, there's no doubt it must be him, he thought while he saw how he was approaching. Naruto, now you recognize me, Zabuza. I must say you are much stronger since the last time we saw each other. I think this thing of being a renegade ninja suits you well, although it surprises me a little since you are very proud of your village, because someone like you would be a renegade, said stoically. Zabuza, out of all of us, I never thought I'd see you again, bloody demon, and I still remember our last encounter where I lost to you, and well, to be honest, I didn't become a renegade by choice. We have a lot of problems in Kiri. There's a monster that has destroyed half of our village and left the fourth Masukijigura in serious condition, his teeth. And those sane ones, it was almost like seeing a demon in person. It even releases a type of dark energy similar to your darkness style, he said seriously. Naruto, what demon, huh? Interesting. Well, I was thinking of killing you, but with what you found out, it caught my attention. I have a deal for you. Help us eliminate Gato. In exchange, I will help you finish him off, since only I know his weaknesses. I know those types of creatures well and I know how to stop him. We have a deal, he said, looking at him. Zabuza, it's okay. Besides, I know perfectly well that you are stronger than me, and with your help we can solve all this, although I have to talk to Raiga, he said, so that he nods while both go with him. Naruto, very well, change of plans now. Zabuza and Raiga will help us. In exchange, I will help them with that demon that you told me about, since I have a feeling of what it is, he said while arriving with the rest while someone speaks. Raiga, please, what does a brat like you know about that? If we haven't been able to defeat him, how much less will a nobody like you? He said with an arrogant smile while looking at him. Zabuza, do not underestimate him. He is in fact a blood demon, the most powerful Anbu in all of Konoha. I know because, as you know, I faced him and I came to recognize him. Now he will help us. In exchange, we will help him kill Gato, he said seriously. Enko, so they discovered your secret, that you were that feared Anbu. Oh, my little brother, I'm very proud of you, she said, hugging him again. Squeezing him between her breasts, knowing that she couldn't do anything, she accepted it. Raiga, okay, you convinced me with the idea of killing that idiot Gato. By the way, Ranmaru, Haku, can you go out? Change of plans now, we are allies, he said, looking at a place for two people to appear. Haku, Zabuza-sama, I am very glad that you are well and I have heard everything. We will receive your help. Bloody demon-sama, thank you very much for this opportunity, he said with a smile, while he still maintains his stoic look. Ranmaru, thank you very much for not killing Raiga. Now that we are here, I think it is best to return to your friends. Although I can see that there are people approaching, they may be in danger, he said while his eyes shone red. When they went with the rest, they saw that they killed many of the thugs and explained the plan to them, accepting immediately, and Tazuna also agreed that it was a good idea, and they were already leaving when suddenly they felt like an ice power being avoided by Haku, destroying that ice with ease. While in view, you can see how some chains are launched against the builder being avoided by Raiga, who deflected them with his double swords, and when they saw Kurosaki throwing a blow towards Raiga, who avoided it very easily. Kurosaki, let me go, damn you, just let me get free and I'll beat them. Tio Paprika, like the future goddess of all shinobis, said, trying to free herself even though everyone sees her as if she were a little girl. Sasuke, all you're doing is making a fool of yourself, and as always you arrived late. And I don't even know why you came. We have everything resolved, and the only goddess you would be is one of the hitches, he said mockingly. Raiga, this brat is really quite annoying. Listen, there's no problem if I have a funeral for her, because I think I would be doing the world a favor if I did it, right? He said, observing everyone present who thought it would be a good idea. Yakumo, in itself it would be a crime, because even if she is annoying, she is the daughter of the Yellow Lightning and the Bloody Habanero. But if we say that it was an accident because she was not paying attention to the mission and nobody says anything, then I think that if she said, looking at how the man's smile grew. Although then they saw how Kushina was arriving and launched herself against Raiga, saying things like "leave my daughter behind," being blocked by Anko, who hit her in the stomach while saying the following. Kakashi, But what are you doing, Anko? They are our enemies. Are you betraying the village with what you do? He said, quite angry while he looked at them all, incriminating them without even knowing anything about the subject. Tazuna, none of that now. They are allies since the blonde made a deal with them to finish off the cat. Without counting that, I don't even know why they came. If they are good shinobis who don't arrive late, you are just unnecessary, he said seriously. Anko, not to mention that if Naruto helps them with their problem, we might have an alliance with the Mist Village, and all of you were about to ruin it. Sorry for this. Honestly, I don't understand how someone without a brain is still alive, she said, sighing. Zabuza, so this is the famous bloody habanero. I think what they say about her was somewhat exaggerated. I imagined her to be more imposing. Honestly, she looks so easy to kill, he said, looking at her from head to toe. Naruto, I know she can be killed easily and with something as simple as a sword, and even more so with such low reserves, since due to times of peace it is seen that she has not trained enough, and even if I wanted to I cannot let you kill her, Zabuza said stoically. Kushina, oh Naruto-chan, thank you very much for defending me, we know how much you care about us. But she was interrupted when she received a cut on her cheek while she looked at him with a dead voice and said the following. Naruto, because I will be the one to end your disgusting life along with your husband's. Doing it right now would be so easy, and it is not what I am looking for. Before dying by my hands, you will see how all the people you loved or considered as your family, and you saw them grow up, die in front of your eyes, and the helplessness of not being able to do anything, accompanied by a great despair of thinking that this is just a nightmare, and seeing the cruel reality, and then dying with remorse. Until then, watch your guard, Uzumaki said with a cold tone while walking forward, leaving a scared Kushina next to a Kurosaki, while the rest who didn't know about it looked at those present who simply denied it, noticing that it was a somewhat delicate subject, so they decided to walk with him. After a while they arrived at the Land of Waves. It was a completely poor place because the cat took all your money and it was full of bandits. For many of them, it disgusted them to see that horrible place, Kurosaki being the most scared along with Kiyomi. But for Yakumo it wasn't, because he had painted worse landscapes. Sasuke learned with his training that these types of things would be seen, and as for the Jounin, they didn't care anymore. Naruto was like being in the red light districts. Until they finally passed where there was a blue-haired woman who was Tazuna's daughter. Next to them was a child who looked at everyone with hatred, something that they didn't even care about much. They said they didn't have space for everyone, and they commented that they have camping tents, so there was no problem. What is certain is that during the meal they went fishing, so they sent the genin along with Naruto to that end. First they didn't want to, saying Kurosaki and Kiyomi that this wasn't a job for someone like her, being scolded by her mother, who told her that on missions like this she had to learn to fish, and as an extra bonus they made a competition to see who caught the most fish. When they went to the river they were fishing using fishing rods, although in Sasuke's case he used his intelligence and some ninja threads to catch a good amount. In Yakumo's case, because he was always Anko's student, he managed to set some traps that helped her easily catch many fish. When they saw that there were enough for everyone, they were about to leave when a large fish came out of the water. It was about 4 meters long, and coming out of the water was a Naruto wearing only pants but highlighting his toned body that made the 3 girls blush when they saw him. While he did not take it seriously and dried himself using wind and put on his clothes and then carried the large fish and took it away, being followed by the rest. The moment they arrived they were surprised by the big fish that had almost made Tsunami faint. Later that night they managed to prepare a good portion of the fish, and they had some left over, and now everyone was having dinner peacefully. Tsunami, thank you so much for bringing us all this food. It's been a long time since we had so many guests to eat with, she said with a smile while serving a plate of food while everyone enjoyed their food. Kushina, don't worry. It was really a pleasure for us to want to help you with your problem. It's what anyone would have done, she said with a smile, while he nods happily while he sees them. While talking about trivial things until Inari came through the door, and saw the ninjas talking in the calmest way that bothered him to see them, while his mother noticed the presence of the boy, who told him the following. Inari, who are they? Asked the child with a serious face, being observed by some of those present, and ignored by others who did not care about the presence of the child, while the mother speaks, and she tells him the following. Tsunami, they are the ninjas who will protect your grandfather while he builds the bridge, said the happy woman, making the child make a face of disgust while she says at the top of her lungs the following. Inari, why do you try so hard? You'll never be able to beat Gato. He's a mercenary and a millionaire. You'll end up dead if you fight him. You're just ninjas who probably had a lot of luxuries and don't know true pain. Someone like that can't defeat Gato. Don't act like heroes. Heroes don't exist. You better give up. He said, very annoyed and coldly, to which our blonde looked at him somewhat angrily. Kurosaki, well, you're lucky. You're in front of a heroine who will show how strong she is and won't let you surpass her. You can feel honored, he said somewhat arrogantly, a little angry at those present since she hasn't done anything. Inari, stop talking nonsense. Heroes don't exist. None exist. It was my fool father who wanted to be a hero, and because of that he died like a coward while we live a shitty life. You have lives without problems. You don't know what it feels like to live in poverty all the time. My life has been so horrible since I was born that I would like to die right now, she said, almost crying. Leaving many in silence, Sasuke was a bit angry, but he controlled himself just like Yakumo, and the swordsman simply did not give much importance to them, just like his companions. Although with a quick movement that no one was able to see, the little one ended up on the floor and being stepped on the ground by Naruto, activating his demon mark that covers his forehead, while looking at him with great coldness and death. Naruto, if you want to die so much, brat, then I will kill you with great pleasure, he said with a dead voice while stepping on the body of the poor child who was not able to stand it while he was trying to speak. Leaving both the little boy's mother and grandfather scared to death by seeing that dead look that the boy has, while the swordsman paid attention along with their companions, and Kushina along with Kakashi wanted to intervene, being stopped by Anko, who made signs for them to observe. Inari, please. Leave me, it hurts so much, said the child very weakly while crying, shedding many tears in his eyes, and he sees him, and he responds saying the following. Naruto, you feel that pain. You are able to feel it because you are alive, and you can experience that because your father protected you and your family, caring less about his own life as long as you lived longer, he said to stop stepping on him, while the child looked at him surprised. Leaving everyone completely surprised to hear his words, and his family, who were previously scared, now looked with great surprise at the blonde while he looked directly at him, and said the following. Naruto, listen well, brat, we all die in this life and we live with the purpose of knowing what we want to do with our lives. He saved you so that you can find a purpose in your life. But if you want to live your life believing that you are the only one who suffers, then your life is worthless, and the best thing would be for you to die. Even if doing so makes your mother suffer, or you think that you are the only one who felt bad about your father's death. He said seriously, making Inari open his eyes, looking at his mother, who was also worried about him as she approached to attend to him. But then Naruto took off his shirt. When he did it, everyone except those who knew were surprised. Tsunami covered her mouth in horror as well. Inari and Tazuna were horrified, and Zabuza along with Raiga. Ranmaru and Haru looked in shock at all those scars all over his body, many near his heart, but without a doubt the worst is that mark with the word demon on his chest. Naruto, and when they do all this to you when you are barely 3 years old every day, and you are hunted like a wild animal that only wants to see your death, then I will say that you are the one who has suffered the most. I am going to leave. I have a lot to get even with, and I do not want to kill you by accident, he said as he leaves, slamming the door and leaving the place. Zabuza, okay, now I'm really curious what happened to that boy to make him have those scars. Not even me being a jounin have so many wounds like that. It seems that that boy was in a war, he said seriously. Anko, you're not wrong. If there is someone who knows the injustice of the world, it's Naruto. Since he was very young, he was beaten, tortured every day of his life by the entire Leaf Village. Only a few did nothing to him, all because before he was a Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi who believed that he possessed his body, so thinking he was the beast everyone. Until the previous Hokage made sure that his life was not happy because of that hatred accumulated for so many years, he awakened the style of darkness, and had to learn to kill at 4 years old. Because of that his mind is more than broken, and he is a being that only seeks to be the strongest demon of all, said seriously. Sasuke, now, in the words of Naruto himself, I once heard that scar with the word demon written on it. The one who made it was none other than Yellow Lightning himself, and his supposed father made it, and despite the fact that the beast escaped a long time ago, they still mistreated him along with his wife, who is in fact that woman, he said, pointing to the Uzumaki. Yakumo, So since he was little he has lived a war between the villagers and shinobis of Konoha against him, and while you brat you still have the opportunity to choose what you want to do, but he never got it. The village itself always called him a monster, a demon. That's why now his goal is to be the most feared and powerful demon of all, said. Seriously. Nobody said anything about the great surprise they felt, and they couldn't help but feel empathy on the part of the swordsmen and their companions. Tsunami slapped Kushina and told her bad things about being a mother, and that she was a heartless monster. Regarding little Inari, who, with everything he heard and saw, cried while he fell to the ground, fainted. Zabuza, I think it's best to rest. It was a very heavy burden to assimilate even for me, and don't look for the boy. It seems he wants to vent some anger, and as he said, don't kill them by accident or someone, he said so that everyone nodded in agreement. The next day, we found ourselves in a place where everyone was leaving the house. Although they noticed how the people were now happy and there wasn't a single bandit, while the people didn't stop celebrating, so one of them approached. Haku, excuse me sir, but why are you celebrating so much? Just yesterday everyone was sad, what changed? She said, confused, since when she came here the whole place was like a ghost town. Now everyone was happy. Sir, ha 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 ha, you don't know Gato is no longer dead, and all that thanks to our savior. If you want to know, come, he said, so that everyone could continue seeing him very mutilated and headless bodies until reaching Gato's base where there were more dead corpses, leaving a scary scene while someone speaks. Kushina, but who could have done all this destruction in such a short time? That's not normal. Whoever did it is a monster. No, not even one could do something like this, she said, looking at the whole place along with everyone present. Enko, no, I've seen this before. It was Naruto. This always happens when he has problems with his anger and wants to vent it a little. He does things like this or even worse. But can you tell us more or less what he did? He said seriously. Child, I can tell you because I witnessed all of that. First, it was a quiet night where I was walking in the most calm way in the world and I saw some bandits robbing a woman when suddenly. Flashback at night. We can see the same child who, as he said, was walking through a part where many of the bandits who were assaulting a woman can be seen, since this type of scenes were very common to see around here, while she said, Woman, please, this is all I have. I have nothing more to give you and I have a sick son that I have to support, and I can't give you more. Please, I don't want to lose him. She said, crying while the bandits just laugh while one says, Bandit 1. I'm sorry, but that doesn't pay enough. You know, I have an idea. Why don't we take it to the cat? I think he would love to have a new slave. What do you say? He said with a disgusting smile, while some speak. Bandit 2. I don't think it's a bad idea, really, although we should try the merchandise first. We can do it now, he said while everyone cornered the woman who begged him not to do it, and they started to tear all her clothes. Although before they did anything else to him, something grotesque happened. The heads of all the bandits were torn off in such a way that they ended up falling to the ground, creating a large smoke screen, while the whole atmosphere changed to a more tense one. Then they saw a blond man who was completely wrapped in a dark matter while keeping an empty look as if there was not a shred of life on his face, and walking without saying anything towards them. Many of the bandits tried to escape from that being, others acted brave enough to throw themselves at him, however, they ended up split in half or headless. He was walking and creating a long path of corpses until he reached a hidden base where there were a lot of bandits, and a man who saw him. Cat, and you, who is this brat? I want you to tell me what you want here now before I kill you. Did you hear me? He said seriously, but he still doesn't respond, although he must say that his aura intimidates him quite a bit, but he was trying to be serious. Although he remained still having that empty look while he approached him slowly, being blocked by many of the bandits who looked at him in an arrogant way, one of them told him the following. Bandit brat, what the hell in a place like this? You know why not? You better leave before we kill you. Although I'll keep your sword. It looks too pretty for someone like you to have it, he said, trying to take the sword from his back. Serious mistake as his hand flew off, causing him to scream in pain while he feels his head fly off, ending up dead while taking a piece of small sword that the bandit left. Hunter, don't move, there are many more of us than you have no chance, so it's better if you go back to your mother and cry, he said arrogantly, but internally he was scared shitless from seeing that deathly look along with that darkness that surrounded him. Then I raised the small sword and launched an attack so powerful that it ended up killing each of the bandits who were there, and those who were nearby were dying even from just breathing their environment due to the miasma emanating from the blonde. While he was approaching a cat that shat and peed his pants from the great fear of having him closer and closer, while he was only trembling looking at the blonde and all desperate because he saw his life pass before his eyes, he said the following. Cat, wait, please don't kill me, I'll give you whatever you want, just ask for it. You want money, I have a lot of money. You want women, I have a lot of women in the warehouse, you can use them as your boars if you want. I can even give you land, all that I have, but please don't kill me. Even if you want, you can be my right hand. What do you say? He said, trembling. But without saying anything, he raised his hand and created a blade of darkness to then rise to the ground and launch a powerful slash that ended up splitting it in half, finally ending the cat's life. What he didn't see was that the boy was following him and witnessed it, and instead of feeling scared, he felt happy about the death of that wretch and went to tell all his friends about this great news. End of flashback of the night. Child. After that, we all celebrated. What is true is that when I approached him and thanked him for what I did, he told me that if someone were to look for him, they should go to the base. He says that's where it is and that he's waiting for them. He said calmly while he went to another place. So without saying anything, they went to the base that was now more grotesque as the child told it while they entered the base where Naruto was lying between two corpses, and he was using them as a seat while next to him there were 3 sacks, and he looked at them. Naruto, they took longer than I thought. Anyway, Tazuna, in that bag is half of the money from all of Goto's companies and their bank accounts are yours. We take the other one and you take the other one, Zabuza said as he stood up. Zabuza, I see that what they say about you is true, however, thank you very much, boy, and with your help we can defeat that monster that threatens our village, he said calmly, receiving the sack, seeing the amount. Raiga, incredible, it's even much more than what that stingy Goto was going to give us. Good thing you killed him, although I would have liked to give him a funeral, but I'm happy that you killed him in a painful way, he said with a smile. Enko, with all this now all that's left is for Tazuna to repair the bridge, and then we can return to Konoha and be well with everyone. Very well done, little brother, she said, hugging him again very tightly. Haku, let's set sail quickly, we have to return to the Mist Village soon. We don't know how long they must have been ravaging that monster, and with your help we can stop it, he said seriously while looking at them. Chapter 5. After finishing the Waves mission, the rest returned to Konoha. Meanwhile, Naruto went with Zabuza, Raiga, Haku and Ranmaru, who were heading to the Mist Village. They were on a sailing ship while Naruto was in the front looking at nothing. Zabuza, you surprised me, boy. In my entire life only one person was able to intimidate me. Not even the 4th Monsieur Kijigura in his bijou state was able to scare me like that, and I ended up discovering that he was just a boy of barely 14 years old. The ironies of life. Naruto, the most powerful weapon of a ninja is deception. That's why, as you said, who would think that such a fearsome, ruthless and heartless Anbu is a boy like me, and I prefer that secret to remain, so if any of your friends say something, silence them. It's clear, he said, activating his mark. Zabuza, calm down. Your secret is safe with me and my companions. We understand that you do not want them to know your identity as Anbu. I understand, since I was an Anbu. By the way, it is better to go down since in this part, since that monster invaded us, a type of poison emanates that the Genin and Chunin are not able to withstand. He said, but the Genin did not pay attention to him. When he breathed it in, he immediately recognized it as a type of dark aroma. When he breathed it in completely, he analyzed it until he finally got a good idea of what it was while thinking the following. Naruto, just as I suspected, this is miasma from purgatory. Only a high-ranked demon is capable of releasing that much, or an Endura demon, who are the ones who are out of control. If I can talk to him, I can find out what happened to the other races. He thought seriously. After a good while of traveling, they arrived at a part that was the village, and they went to their base, where they found everyone present being a chestnut along with 2 men being attacked by some blue birds with wings that before they did something to him, Naruto released his presence being detected while they stopped. Then they both look at the person responsible, and almost immediately go directly to him, while the ninjas who accompanied him were going to attack him, but to their surprise they knelt before him while saying the following. Blue Demon 1, Meliodas-sama. It's you, nice to see you again. We thought you had been killed. I'm really glad, he said with a demonic voice while he saw him, and he knelt down like the rest of the blue birds who saw him. Naruto. In fact, I am not. You could say that I am his successor just as I am Zeldris and Estarossa's, but that is not the point. I want to know how it is possible that you are all in this era and what happened to the rest of the races, he said seriously. Blue Demon 3. Vera. After Meliodas-sama, Zeldris-sama, and Estarossa-sama were sealed, seeing us in a fragile state, the goddesses, along with the giants and fairies, tried to exterminate us, being that when they attacked us we were sealed by the goddesses. And what happened? We found out that a human who is known as King Arthur was the one who made the appearance of Meliodas-sama change, what made it look like he was possessed by the Demon King. His true plan was for them to focus on that, to use a forbidden technique that was going to erase both goddesses and demons, giants, fairies, and vampires. My group found out about it, and we wanted to explain it to them, he said seriously. Blue Demon 2. However, they did not listen to us, and in the end the squad leader, who with her infiltration power helped us discover the plans of that human, transformed into an Endura beast to protect me and the rest of my brothers, but in the end they sealed us, and when we woke up we realized that that human succeeded, she said angrily. Naruto, now I understand everything. I knew that the power of chaos was too much power to handle for someone so young. In the end, his ambitions of wanting a world in peace reached him. I understand well. Everyone calm down, they are in order, he said seriously. May, wait a minute, what order is that about demons? Now, who the hell are you? Zabuza, Raiga, Haku, and Ranmaru. I thought you weren't going to come for another month, and why did you bring a boy here? He said seriously. Raiga, well, May-sama, that boy, as you call him, is in fact the legendary Anbu of Konoha, the bloody demon. And he came to help us since he says he knows about that monster that attacks us, and I see that he has it, he said with a smile. Naruto, anyway, I heard your Mei, or whatever your name is, tell all your troops to withdraw. This is a misunderstanding that I must resolve because it is my duty and it is my responsibility. All this he said seriously while looking at her. Aoi, damn, how dare you say such nonsense, brat, you have a lot of guts to say that. Besides, we can't until we stop that monster and kill him, he said angrily while using his Byakugan to intimidate him. However, with a quick movement, he took it away from them without them being able to do anything, making the aforementioned scream and putting them in a fighting stance while he spoke to say the following. Naruto, listen, the lives of your people are worthless to me, but if you don't want her to start feeding on your souls and transform them into forces that will gain you, you will stop her forces if it suits you. In the same way I will stop it, but it will not die. It is clear. Chojuro, oh yes, and how is it that you know so much about those creatures that are attacking us? Isn't it a treacherous attack by your entire village? They are attacking us with those strange things, he said seriously while incriminating him, while he said the following. Naruto, they are low-ranking demons, they only exist to serve the elite-rank demons and their king, but without an order they only attack to defend it because it is in a state out of control that is obtained by snatching 6 of its 7 hearts. Making a pact of darkness, unleashing the maximum power of a demon, and only I can stop it, and unless it continues to want to lose more of its people, it will do exactly what I said this seriously. May, arg, alright, you win, brat, we'll go withdraw our troops, and it better not be a lie because if not you'll have a lot of problems, she said to get him to leave using her dark wings, and she was heading to another place so someone could talk. Aoi, he can't be serious, even if it's what Zabuza and Raiga say about that boy, it doesn't mean that he's possibly an enemy ambushing him, he said seriously, still hurting his eye while someone says. Raiga, are you stupid or are you pretending to be like that he would be leading it when what is seen is that none of them gets hurt, and in case you heard those things that are demons only obey superior demons, he said with a smile. Ranmaru, which only means that all this time we have been living with a real elite rank demon, he even took out some dark wings a moment ago, and from how these beings speak to him with respect, he said seriously. Blue Demon 1, ha 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 ha. And not only is he, since we know that he is here now, he is our new king, since he is not only a high-rank demon, but he has enough power to almost equal the power of the former king of the demons, he said with a smile, making everyone surprised. In another part of the village. Vermal, R-A-A-R-R-R. She roared as she raised her power, and was attacking like crazy any being in front of her while some demons were protecting her from the humans. Then Naruto arrived and using the power of the demon caused all the low-ranking demons from reds, grays to greens to remain still while they looked at their lord, recognizing him, and they knelt down, something that surprised humans, and saw how the beast approached him. Obviously he tried to attack her, however he blocked her with his hand while she tried to get away, but he couldn't do anything, greatly surprising those present while he told them the following. Naruto, you don't have to attack now, you can calm down now, everything is fine, he said, so that a light along with a bit of darkness came out of his body and took the entire body of the monster who was screaming and created a brightness so strong that it ended up blinding everyone present, that when it dispersed the woman was seen almost completely naked, being covered by a bit of Naruto's dark matter. Wow, now I take back everything I said about him, it was really surprising. He finished her off using his hand and that strange power when not even Yagura-sama in his three-tailed Bijou state managed to defeat him, she said surprised. Chojuro, and I think this really confirms that he was a demon, and on top of all that he is its king. Let's see if I don't have problems, I thought, scared, thinking that he would do something to him because of how he spoke to him a while ago. Naruto, damn, I know that all of you are scared of this new world that now torments you. Many things have changed since we were sealed, but listen, each one of you can have your own home in which you can be. I have recreated the purgatory in which you can live in peace, but before that, due to this misunderstanding, go repair all the damage that you caused. Even though it was not your intention, you did it, he said seriously. Without further ado, they almost immediately began to clean and collect wood to rebuild the entire place at a surprising speed, leaving everyone present with a look of surprise beyond belief. After a while, and after he had to explain what his race was and what they were apart from that, he left them a warning that if they told anything about this to the other villages about their existence they would pay, and that it was not yet time for them to know. We can see in a bedroom where Naruto was and lying down was the demon who went crazy and waited for her to wake up so she could talk to her, while she took the opportunity to put some clothes on her. After a while she was showing signs of wanting to wake up until she got up and said the following. Vermal, where am I? What's going on? I remember fighting against the damn goddess clan, then I transformed into Indura, and then I just saw how they sealed us, and then… But she was interrupted by the boy's words. Naruto, calm down. Everything is fine, and before you ask, I'm not Meliodas, I'm his successor. I'm also Zeldris Estarossa's successor, better known as Male. Yes, I'm half demon, half archangel, but calm down, the demons already told me, you were very brave to have helped your companions, but all that is over, now you can be at peace, he said calmly. Vermal, I understand, even though it's a lot to process, I really appreciate you saving me. Although honestly I don't know what to do now, because I suppose if what that Arthur guy said is true, then we no longer have a home, he said sadly. Naruto, don't worry about that, I have recreated purgatory so that the demons can live in peace. What is that? If you want you can stay with me, since you have a power that is on par with a commandment. It is not a bad offer, and I do it more than anything so that you know this world. What is that? You would only have to hide your horns. But other than that you can be fine in the human world, he said seriously. Vermal, but why are you offering me this opportunity? It's not that I'm not grateful for the offer, on the contrary, I would like to be well and not have to live in a war like in the Holy War. But I'm still curious, she said, looking at him. Naruto, one part is because I feel responsible for it. Since I am now both Meliodas and Zeldris, I feel responsible for the disappearance of the demons that were erased because of me. I should have trained Arthur to use his chaos power better. Maybe that way he wouldn't have been consumed by such uncontrolled power. And the other was because I saw you during the fight. I saw that you were suffering. You gave up your own mind just to save your own, an act that I respect very much and I venerate it, and I consider you as such a great demon warrior. That is why I offer you this opportunity that you say you accept, he said with a small smile. Vermal, thank you very much Naruto-kun for this great opportunity, really said while hugging him, putting his face between her breasts, making him blush for the first time in his life for feeling this while thinking the following. Naruto, damn, her breasts are so soft they make me want to grope them. What? It wasn't filthy thoughts inherited by Meliodas and Zeldris, and I thought that I didn't bring out her perverted side, and why is she failing me now? When Anko did it, it didn't bother me, or I felt this that I feel now, a warmth that I can't describe, it's so confusing to me. I thought while I still had her face between them, and now I just had to accept it. When the girl let him go, still very happy to know more about this world, the blonde told her that would be when they go to Konoha and that they can leave. What is true is that he had to hide his horns so that there would be no problem, which he did, and when they opened the door they noticed how everything was already arranged. Without further ado, Naruto opened a portal in which all the demons entered, not without first apologizing to those of the mist and thanking Naruto for giving them this opportunity, while each one left leaving the whole place in great silence until someone spoke. Zabuza. Well, thank you very much for everything you have done for our home. What we can ask of you is one last thing. The fourth Masukage fell ill from an illness. Being more exposed to the acid in the air that emanated affected him quite a bit, and his body was torn apart. Although his bijou tried to help him, he couldn't handle such serious wounds. He said seriously as he looked at him. Vermal, what was contaminated by the miasma that emanated from humans? It is very poisonous. I am surprised that he is still alive. I believe that he can be cured since you are largely an archangel, right? Therefore, you can purify all the miasma that his body absorbed, he said, observing the blonde. Naruto, I will do it, but only because it is partly my responsibility. Take me to him now. I will heal him immediately, he said while they nodded and took him to a somewhat distant part of the place. When they arrived they saw a green-haired boy in a hospital bed connected to many things. He had many purple spots all over his body while breathing rapidly. Without further ado he made his right eye shine blue with a mark on his eye while he launched a ray of light that went directly to the fourth Kazekage, making many of the doctors become alert. But then they saw how that strange light was regenerating their cells to the point where all those purple spots were disappearing as if by a miracle while it was happening, while he told them the following. Naruto, ready, he will wake up in a few hours. What is certain is that you tell him in a message that you are invited to Konoha to take the Chunin exams this year, which is in Konoha, and sign this. It is a contract for an alliance, he said, passing the document, and the woman read it, and without question signed it, and gave it to him. When he left he said goodbye to the rest along with Zabuza, Haku, Ranmaru and Raiga and took out his dark matter wings and was leaving. Vermal did the same, but almost instantly as he flew a little he fell and was held by the arms by the boy. Vermal, I'm sorry, it seems that having been in Endura mode for so long has made it so that I can't use my magic power, so I can't even take out my wings to fly. I'm sorry for being a bother to you, she said, crestfallen. Naruto, you're not a bother and don't worry, it's just a side effect, it will pass in a few days. I will cure you with my magical healing power, and it will gradually fade away on its own. For now, hold on to me, I will never let you go, I will, he said as he flies away carrying the girl who simply hugged him, hiding her blush. Around the flight, a half-hour passed in which they were flying until they arrived at Konoha, and using a better speed they were so fast that they were undetectable for any ninja and ended up arriving at a secret route base. Naruto, we have arrived further ahead, this is my home, but before we go I must go see someone. Come with me at once so you can meet him. Don't worry, nothing will happen to you, I assure you, he said so that she would nod, and they went to the base. When they arrived they saw several Anbus surrounding the place who moved away when they noticed Naruto's annoyed look for having bothered them. They moved away very scared knowing his reputation well. Arriving at a more remote part we see Danzo with Orochimaru drinking some tea and a redhead sleeping in a bed. Danzo, so you finally arrived Naruto. I'm very happy. I see that your mission carried something extra. Don't worry, Anko told us everything. By the way, who is this girl who accompanies you since you are not someone who returns with guests? He said calmly while looking at him. Naruto, true, she is Vermal, a girl that I found in the middle of the fight. I saved her from that monster that threatened the village of the mist since she has some very interesting abilities that caught my attention, and that's why I thought she would be good for us, he said seriously. Orochimaru, Kakuku, you don't have to lie to us like that, Naruto-kun. We know that she is the monster you're talking about, just like we know that you're a demon and an archangel. It's not true, he said with a smile as he looks at him. He showed great clear surprise, and before he could ask anything else he saw how both Danzo and Orochimaru were surrounded by dark matter all over their bodies, and showing two beings that left the boy even more surprised. Naruto, Chandler Cusack, how is it possible that you are in this era? You were supposed to have died in the ancient battle against the Demon King. Even more so, how is it possible that you are Danzo and Orochimaru, and since when do you know that I am a demon? He said, surprised. Chandler D. It's very simple, Mr. Naruto. After the blinding sleepyhead killed me to revive the Demon King, and he killed him because we didn't die when we were together. Our souls didn't die and something made us reincarnate as humans, he said seriously. Kuzaku. Kukuku. Normally in these cases we would not have awakened our true appearance along with our memories and magical power, but it was his demonic magical power that by being in contact with us all the time we were able to return to our true state. It was going to be a surprise that we were going to tell him as a surprise, and in fact another person wants to talk to you, he said calmly. He was somewhat confused by what those now identified as his former teachers said until a great light appeared and showed a child with 4 pairs of wings, which left him speechless until he spoke. Serial. It's been a long time, male, although now your name is Naruto. How have you been before you asked? Calm down, Chandler, and Kuzaku already told me what happened. I don't blame you for having joined the demon race. You will wonder how I am here. My soul remained in the grace of the tornado, and I waited for a successor, and I chose your brother Karma. Don't worry, I will train him and take care of him thanks to the fact that I turned him half Uzumaki, half Archangel, and the grace will not consume his life, and I will still teach him how to use it. And remember this, male, no matter how you leave, be it male or Estarossa or Naruto, you will always be my brother, he said with a smile, and then disappeared. Again. Naruto. I don't know what to say, it was a lot to process, it was a surprise, but with you back and knowing that Karma is now an Archangel with the grace of the tornado, we have to prepare for what is coming since difficult times are approaching, he said seriously while looking at each of them. Chandler D. Let's prepare ourselves. What are you talking about, Mr. Naruto? Did you discover something that we don't know about? He said curiously, just like his other half, looking at the blonde who simply sighed heavily and looked at the girl who nodded her head. Vermal. You see, I and other demons discovered that King Arthur, who is a human who possessed a power that created the Demon King called Chaos, he was the one who turned the other races against each other to attack and seal Meliodas along with Male because they would be a threat to his plans. They also sealed Master Zeldris. His objective was to use all the power of chaos to erase both goddesses and giants, fairies and demons, and that only humans would remain. I suppose that his power was so effective that even the souls of demons were transformed into humans. When we wanted to warn them, they did not listen to us and wanted to finish us off, so I transformed into Endura to protect them, but they sealed us, she said seriously. Naruto. And that is what worries me. If they were able to withstand their power without being affected by a seal, then it means that perhaps that cursed goddess and traitor of Elizabeth along with the bear of sloth, the serpent of envy, the goat of lust, and the daughter of Belialuim who used the alias of Merlin, the boar of gluttony, may have survived too, and who knows what kind of plans they must have now. We must be ready. I will not let them eliminate our race again. I do not know if she wants to bring chaos again. If there is a possibility that a part still remains alive, I cannot let it be reborn again, he said seriously while looking at it. Kuzaku. Kukuku. I see. Without a doubt, problems from the past are approaching, but don't worry. You will always have our power, Naruto, along with that of little Karma, who, although he is still small, we must prepare him and we will also train him with cereal. For now, you must rest and relax, he said calmly. Chandler D. Correct, and since there are almost no rooms in the village, he will stay in his home until we find him a suitable one. For now, you should rest. After he feels better, we will tell young Karma about his return, he said calmly. Without further ado, they nodded, and then Naruto went to his house, which was nearby and was an apartment big enough for one person. When they arrived, he lay down while sighing. Vermal. By the way, Naruto-kun, what was it that made you become the successor of Meliodas, Zeldris and Estarossa, since I suppose that before you were a human, she said somewhat doubtfully, looking at the boy while saying the following when she saw her. Naruto. My past as a human was very painful since I was little. I always knew the pain, suffering, betrayal, and hatred, all because Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki, my supposed human parents, thought that the Kyuubi, which is a demonic beast without a physical body, only made of power, controlled my body. Because of that they, along with all the members of this village, made my life hell. They tortured me, beat me, humiliated me every day. When I was barely 3 years old, no one was with me, and many of those I thought were my friends betrayed me or died. It was then that Meliodas, Zeldris, and Estarossa came to me and trained me. I wanted to use my power for revenge, and yes, I did, but now that they know that I am not that beast, they seek my forgiveness and I just want to kill them, he said with a dead voice. Vermal, I understand, and even if you don't believe it, I understand it. I went through it all the same. Despite being a demon, I lived with humans when I was a child. I had a lady who took care of me and treated me like her daughter. However, when the goddess race attacked my town, I used my power to protect them and I couldn't. Then they lied to the people saying that I attacked them and that it was the goddesses who protected them, and I was hated by humans and I stayed hidden, staying away from matters between demons. I just wanted to be calm. But then when I found out that Zeldris-sama was in charge now and we could be at peace, I wanted to go back and I saw how my comrades died again. I don't want to go through that. I don't want to be alone, she said something sad. Naruto, I understand you. I feel the same even now that I know who they are. I always saw Danzo as my father and Orochimaru as my uncle, and I also have Anko as my older sister that I always wanted to have. Even with Karma, they are my family, and I don't want to lose her. I don't want to lose. I don't know what I would do, he said weakly while for the first time he appeared fragile just to say. Naruto, but above all I'm afraid of being alone again. I don't want to lose them ever. They are the only happiness I have left in this world. Without them I don't know what I would do, and the world already took something I loved from me once and I don't want that to happen again, he said, crying while touching his hair. The woman, seeing that, took him and hugged him, pressing her breasts to his face. But it was too comforting for him to feel that whole sensation, which for him was something new but beautiful at the same time, and he didn't want that sensation to end, while she tells him. Vermal, Naruto-kun, you won't be able to do that, I can assure you of that, because now you don't only have them, you have me. I promise you that I will always be with you no matter what happens. If it weren't for you I would still be a monster. I owe you my life. Really no one besides that lady had ever done that for me. Now you can vent because I won't leave your side, he said with a smile and in a soft voice. He took her by the arms slowly, reciprocating the hug even though she was still crying, releasing all the pain she had stored inside her, and she only caressed his blonde hair while he ended up falling asleep. Vermal, don't worry, now we're together. Since the moment you saved me, something in me made me feel a warmth that I can't fully understand, but I'll discover it with you, Naruto-kun said, kissing his forehead while lying down with him hugged and still falling asleep with a smile. What none of them realized is that through a sphere were both Danzo and Orochimaru with smiles, since they were witnesses of everything they saw while they talked to each other. Danzo, that girl is special. It's the first time I saw Mr. Naruto cry like that. It seems that even though he's a ruthless demon, he still acts like a 15-year-old boy, even though he's over 3,000 years old, he said with a smile as he watched the scene. Orochimaru, Kukuku, yes, and we are very happy to have heard it. We consider young Naruto to be so, and those two make a very good couple, Miss Vermal. We asked you to repair our boy's heart. I know it will make him very happy, I assure you, he said smiling. Serial, hey my little brother, you have been through so many things that not even in this life could you be happy as a human. I only hope that she does make you happy and that you can have the love that you never managed to have with Elizabeth. I also entrust you with Vermal. Take care of my little brother, and that he does not fall into absolute darkness, she said with a smile while looking at the screen. Elsewhere. I arrived late, but I can't be wrong. That magical power was the captain's. I have to look for him anyway. I have to find that man before those bastards come back to life, because if they do they will cause a possible new war, said the unknown voice. Chapter 6. After finishing his mission of the waves, Naruto left with Zabuza, Haku, Raiga and Ranma to the village of the mist. Due to an attack of demons he was interested, since he had suspicions that there were still members of the demon race alive, and boy was he right, and it was a demon transformed into Endura state. Luckily he stopped her just in time. When the demon girl woke up she introduced herself as Vermal and told her about what happened after Meliodas, Zeldris and Estarossa were sealed, that it was all a plan created by King Arthur, who after obtaining chaos let the power consume him and fulfill his dream of having a world of peace. But to do so he used a spell using all his power to erase the demons, goddesses, giants, fairies, so Naruto decided to take the rest of the demons to the new underworld that he created. where the rest of the demons can now live, and he also proposed to Vermal to stay with him in Konoha, which she gladly accepted, and when they returned they had great surprises. One of them was that both Danzo Shimura and the Sannin of the Snakes Orochimaru were actually Chandler and Cusack, and they explained to him that thanks to their demonic power they managed to recover their current state. As if that were not enough, he now knows that little Karma is the successor of Serial and the Grace of the Tornado. When they went to sleep a little, Naruto and Vermal talked about each of their pasts and revealed for the first time that the blonde is someone with a fragile mentality due to what happened and his worst fear in this life, which is being alone again. Being comforted by the girl who told him that everything was going to be okay and that now he has her, we can now see in a completely dark place where Naruto was, who does not understand where he is until suddenly Meliodas, Zeldris and Estarossa appear from a dark hole, leaving him surprised. Estarossa: "Hello Naruto, I see you've been well. Before you ask, how come we're here? It's because we can come, but we are, so to speak, a representation of your power." "Well, we're here because we have something to warn you about," he said seriously. "Naruto, it must be something very serious for the three of them to have manifested through my power. What is it about? By the way, did you find out what I discovered recently?" he said seriously while they nodded. "Meliodas, we did it, Naruto, and that's what we want to talk to you about. Your suspicions were correct when you said that the goddess Elizabeth, along with Merlin, the boar of gluttony, the serpent of envy, the bear of sloth, along with the goat of lust, survived, and not only that, there is the possibility that a part of chaos is still present," he said seriously. "Zeldris, so if she tries to find a new heir for chaos, things will get out of control and possibly erase what we know. We cannot let that power fall into the hands of that capricious girl, so you must find chaos first before her. We also have to be careful. We do not know how many more will come in this era. We already know that we will have Serial, but we do not know how many more members will turn against us because of the lies of those idiots," he said seriously. "Naruto, I will have it. I will not let those idiots destroy everything I have created based on my effort. I will defend my race no matter what happens. Thank you for the information you have given me. It will be very useful to me," he said seriously and determinedly. "Estarossa, but anyway, now changing the subject, we might as well find out about your new friend and how you took advantage of being Meliodas' height. You fill me with so much pride, ha 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 ha," said with a smile as she looks at him. "Naruto, I don't know what you're talking about. What happened is the same with Enko, although it feels different with her. I feel a warmth that makes me want to touch them, and I say it doesn't matter. Besides, it's just a problem. She's a silly child," he said seriously and looking away. "Meliodas, yes, how can you not fool the rest of the world with that bad boy look? But not all of us, since we know perfectly well that you liked feeling those breasts pressing against you, and she doesn't seem to mind. It's natural that you feel that, and not only that, we know that you experience emotions that you don't understand. But you don't have to deny them. You must accept them," he said with a chibi face. "Naruto, I have no emotions and I don't know what you're talking about. Besides, even if I have them, I must erase all these feelings because they only make me weak. They are the stupidest thing in the world," he said angrily. "Zeldris, Naruto, we not only made you our successor so that you could get revenge, but also so that you could experience the things that every being must live at some point in their life, and love is one of those things. What we went through and what you went through, we understand why you don't want to feel it again. But if you continue clinging to the past, you will never be happy in the present," he said seriously. "Estarossa, as Zeldris said, that girl's heart is very pure for a demon and her feelings for you are genuine. Don't let what we went through give you a bad perspective of what love means," she said looking at him. "Meliodas, that's right. Even though I don't deny what happened between Elizabeth and me was painful, or what happened between Gelda and Zeldris won't happen to you. Give that girl a chance to love you. What's more, I wouldn't change anything that happened to me. If it weren't for what I experienced with Elizabeth, the first wouldn't have met my friends Ban and Escanor, and we wouldn't have met you, Naruto. So don't be afraid of happiness. Accept it in yourself and tell her what you feel ahead of time. You should also be like that with your older sister and with Danzo and Orochimaru," he said calmly. "Naruto, I think you're right. I must accept this. I feel sorry. I will do it little by little since it still costs me some work. I should also do it with Enko. I have been very serious with her, and even so she has been with me for any moment. Okay, I will do it," he said sighing. "Zeldris, it's good that you noticed. One last thing we want to tell you is that we are proud of you, no matter what direction you take, you will be our pride, he said with a smile, and the two men nod equally. After that he began to wake up slowly, and when he woke up completely the first thing he felt was that he was being hugged by Vermal, who was also asleep, and he was looking at her with a small smile, while after a moment he saw how the girl woke up little by little, seeing the blonde awake. Vermal, good morning Naruto. I'm so sorry if I fell asleep with you when you were very calm and you fell asleep and I ended up falling asleep anyway, she said with a small blush on her cheeks while telling him. Naruto, don't worry, it didn't bother me at all, on the contrary, it was the first time in so long that I was able to sleep well. I really appreciate it, he said with a small smile while looking into her eyes. Vermal, same as me, in fact I slept very comfortably with you Naruto-kun. Well, I think we should get up, from what I see we slept all afternoon and night, and I'm a little hungry, she said with a small smile. Naruto, I'm also going to prepare the food and calm down. Zeldris and Estarossa hit Mr. Meliodas very hard so that he wouldn't teach me how to cook like him. I'll prepare breakfast for you. You wait here, yes, he said while she nods her head. When he was leaving he did something that the girl didn't expect, and that was that he kissed her cheek, being somewhat close to the lip, which left her quite blushed from that sudden action, while she looked at the boy, who turned around and said to her, Naruto, Vermal-chan, thank you very much for what you did yesterday. You really took a huge weight off my shoulders. Now I know that I shouldn't be afraid of these new feelings. I'm very happy that you're by my side. I've never been good at expressing my feelings for someone. I just want you to know that you're very important to me. You've done for me what no one else has done in my entire life, he said with a sincere and happy smile. That alone was enough for her to blush completely, still feeling that kiss he gave her on the cheek, while just remembering it caused her to be redder than she already was, but she had a smile for feeling that. When he prepared breakfast, they were eating quietly. From time to time, he would feed Naruto, who accepted it, somewhat blushing at the girl's action. When they finished eating, they decided to take a walk around the village. Before doing it, Naruto used his demon mark phase 2 like Meliodas is saying why he does it, and she understood well, so they left his apartment, and were walking through the village. She is holding the boy's hand. Of course the villagers started with their rumors and were staring at her. Some men came to look at the girl with lust, and I say they arrived because they only had to feel the bloodlust seen in Naruto's eyes, that if the look could kill, even their souls would be dead, and they looked away with great fear, and without realizing it a great rumor was forming about Naruto Shimura, the terror of Konoha, known for being ruthless, cold, and for killing idiot civilians who tried to be smart with him. Now as with a girl it began to spread like gunpowder in the air, and while they were in a park. Vermal, so that human was really begging you like a little girl after he insulted you and sold rotten food at exaggerated prices. You know you would have eaten his soul. That scum doesn't even deserve to be saved by death, she said angrily. Naruto, yes, I know, and I don't doubt it. I thought about it, but then I realized that doing it was going to give me a bad indigestion from eating the souls of idiots, so I did the best thing I could have thought of. I took his soul and placed it in a public men's bathroom. Now he's condemned to smoke the S's of all the fatties of Konoha for the rest of eternity, he said with a smile as he looked at her. Vermal, ha 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 ha, that was a good punishment. I can even hear his cries from here. You are pure evil, Naruto-kun, and I love that, he said with a giggle, while he was also laughing a little. Although before they answered from the sky a sound was heard, and when they turned around they saw with surprise a red-haired boy who was flying using the wind that surrounded him, and then ended up falling on the back of the blonde. Karma, Naruto and why didn't you tell me you had arrived yesterday? And by the way, who is the girl accompanying you? It's strange to see you accompanied, he said with doubt, looking at Vermal, while he said the following. Naruto, if I didn't talk to you it was because I arrived late, and we arrived very tired from our trip. As for who she introduced you to, it's Vermal. I found her on my trip, and well, now she'll live with me in Konoha. Get along with her. Yes, she said, calm down. Karma, wow, she's quite cute. Tell me, are you Naruto and Ai's girlfriend, since it's rare to see him with a girl, he said in an innocent tone and with stars in his eyes and quite excited, causing a blush in both of them, while she speaks. Vermal, well no, we are not boyfriends yet because we have known each other for a short time. What is certain is that I would like to get to know Naruto-kun better, and who knows, maybe we can become something more. He said the last thing in a whisper, being heard by the redhead and the blonde, the latter of whom blushed a lot and nodded. Karma, it's okay, just take care of my brother. I want him to be happier and less bitter like he always is. And now that I saw them, he laughed. Something surprised me since I didn't know he could laugh. He said with some surprise. Naruto, well, leaving that aside, let's play as I promised you that when I returned from my trip I was going to play with you, but we'll play in the forest, he said, so that he nodded very happily while saying the following. Karma, yes you remembered, although it took you longer than expected, but I won't get mad if Vermal-san plays with us too, please, he said with cute puppy eyes towards them, causing the girl to giggle. Vermal, of course, little Karma, I'll play with you. Come on, let's go. We have to hurry. The last one to arrive owes a favor to the other two, what do they say? He said with a beautiful smile as he leaves, followed by the rest of the boys. Now after they went to the forest where they spent time playing children's games like hide and seek, tag, making a fort that they made with branches and trunks, then they talked about various trivial topics of how their adventures went. They went on to play Truth or Dare, where Karma took the opportunity to bother her brother and challenged him to kiss a tree, causing laughter from many of them who got revenge when she told him to confess who he likes, being a girl from his class named Nagisa, a girl with light blue hair. This, of course, like every older brother, began to tease him that she was his girlfriend and he should tell her how he feels, but the boy counterattacked, saying that he should do the same with Vermal, that they made that promise to do it. When they all finally finished playing, they decided to go eat some ice cream, and they explained to Vermal what it was, and when she tried it she was completely amazed at the food. Vermal, but how delicious it is, something cold, but I love it. I have never tried anything like that in my entire life, he said with a smile, while he quite enjoyed the girls' ice cream while they were all eating. Naruto, I knew it was going to be nice. By the way, Karma, tell me something, since when did you come out? I don't want to have problems with that idiot Namikaze, saying that he can't find you or something like that, although if he attacks me, I can kill him and that would save me everything. I'm not in the mood to deal with them today, he said seriously while he looks at them. Karma, I don't think so. In fact, I left home before you went on a mission, and since then I've lived with Danzo and Orochimaru. I have a better time with them. They train me, they feed me, and they play with me sometimes, unlike them, who I don't even consider my parents anymore. When I was little, they were with me before, but then they started focusing on Kurosaki, and they started leaving me aside. Why do they do that? He said with doubt. Naruto, well, little brother, I know it will sound cruel, but you should know it. As you know, those idiots, like I call them, thought about the stupid idea that I was the Kyuubi, and because of their great stupid mentality that they lost their son because they wanted to have another child who is you. However, I do not take away that they had a great favoritism for her, and they left you aside, and it was more after I summoned the Kyuubi, and now they have the horrendous idea that I come back as their family, something very stupid because we were never anything, since you have witnessed how they treated me before, and now everyone pretends that what happened was a misunderstanding, and I do not deny it. I do not lack the desire to kill all the villagers, but listen, if you want to stop considering those idiots as your family, do it, and become strong with your effort, and not for being their son, he said calmly. Karma, now I understand, and yes, I have heard them, as before they insulted you and now they only ask for your forgiveness, and that makes me angry after what you went through, and in fact I wanted it to be a surprise, but officially I am Karma Uzumaki Shimura Danzo Tozen. He gave me some papers and I signed. Now yes, we are legally brothers, he said with a happy smile. Vermal, I'm surprised they haven't noticed you left. They are undoubtedly the worst parents in the history of the entire world, he said with some disgust in his voice while they nod. Naruto, only surpassed by the Demon King and the Supreme Deity. Anyway, let's not think about brainless idiots for now. We have to enjoy this moment before problems come or annoying people come to ruin my little time of peace, he said, sighing. And as if Kami hated him immediately, Team 7 came in, yes, including Kushina and Kurosaki, who came with her friends Hinata, Ino with her team, being that he cursed all the gods that he knows for his bad luck that they come. Enko, Naruto Ototo, why didn't you tell us that you had already come? You know how worried I was about you. You didn't even send a letter. You were going to arrive earlier. We only knew that you had already come to the village because of that rumor that you were with a girl and being nice, and I think that proves that it's true, he said with a mocking smile. Naruto, I'm sorry if I didn't tell you, Anko. Nay, it was actually easier than I thought, and I arrived a bit exhausted from the old man. That's why I didn't say anything. Okay, you don't have to get like that, he said, but when he realized what he said, he blushed a little because of this. Yakumo, wait, did you tell Anko? Nay, in all the time I've known you, along with what she's told me, you've never told her that way, she said, surprised, and so was she. Without waiting any longer, she hugged him while saying, Anko, oh Naruto-chan, it's the first time you call me like that. You don't know how happy it makes me to hear you, she said while hugging him to the point where he couldn't breathe, which made his team laugh a little while someone spoke. Sasuke, leaving that aside, who is she? And it's strange that she's with you since, to be honest, you don't notice anyone, much less a girl, and I understand most of the girls our age. Only one isn't, and that's Yakumo, she said, looking at him. Naruto. Very well, Anko. Nay, team's spoiled blonde wheelbarrow of shit, and the friends of the spoiled one known as the Hitches of the Old West, along with the Uzumaki menstruation hairs and nosy assholes. She is Vermal, and can also use the darkness style. I found her after she defeated the monster that threatened the Mist Village. I offered her to come to Konoha and she accepted, and now she will stay with me to help control her power in a better way, he said seriously. Kiba, hi beauty, tell me, do you already have a place to live? Because if not, then you can come stay with an alpha. What do you think? He said with a proud smile, thinking that she would accept. Vermal, what did you say? I don't understand, but I don't speak the language of scared idiots. That it is clear from miles away that you have not had a single girlfriend because of how ugly and imbecile you are, and let me guess, you suffer from lack of attention from your mother for being a great shame to her clan that you are not even the heir of. Your clan, that you hide it with your mask of I am the alpha and all are your hitches, and you think that acting like this all the girls will go out with you and you will have a harem already. Open your eyes, idiot, you have nothing to offer a woman. You are weak, you have not achieved anything in your short life, and you are condemned to live miserable the rest of your poor life that not even the boars would want with you, but as consolation a girl will touch your parts, she said, to hit his private parts, causing him to let out a heartbreaking scream that was heard throughout the village, causing him to fall to the ground while he cried, not only from the pain but from the cruel words he said, to the point where he peed his pants and left crying and saying things like mommy. Such a scene caused a lot of surprise in many of those present. Although Naruto was blushing, it was the first time he felt something like this, and he only thought the following. Naruto, the way she humiliated him, she told him the truth in his face and in front of everyone, and how she did it was great. Aside from that, there's the possibility that she left him without a heinous or sterile or both. Holy Kami, she's magnificent, he thought, blushing. Yakumo, finally someone gave that bastard what he deserved. I was already fed up with his nonsense about being the alpha and who knows what other nonsense. I like you, he said with a smile while looking at her. Anko, you know, I think I know a good place where you could be. It's a torture department where I work. You'll love it. You can do all that stuff you did and they'd pay you. We'd do a lot of torture together, she said with a smile. Vermal, thank you, and I should not give myself all the credit, or one of my abilities that I created based on my former master Gauther, who has mental powers. Mine is based on the one that increases the fears of the person, where it increases their negative emotions such as regret, sadness, and shame. With that you can leave many idiots out of combat, or in the worst case, commit suicide, he said with a smile. Karma, it's good that he left, and I think you're not the only one who is grateful, since from what I know many of the villagers were bothered by Kiba's attitude, and that's why they didn't make much of a fuss. You're amazing, Vermal-san said with a smile. Kushina, wait a moment, now that I realize Karma, but what are you doing here? You shouldn't be home at this hour, young man. Aren't you supposed to be watching over you? She said angrily. Karma, that pervert. The only one who has taken care of himself are the hot springs. Apart from that, I have been more than 1 month since I am not in that case, or officially I am not your son now. Karma Uzumaki Shimura, yes, Danzo, and has been a better father along with Orochimaru, said bored Kushina. But that is not possible. For that we would have to sign, and we have not signed anything, so stop telling all those lies. I did not teach you that, she said, looking at him somewhat angry. Danzo, that's right. You haven't taught him that or anything really. Besides, you and your husband should be better known as the most idiotic parents in all of history, since you were so idiotic as to not realize that Karma left home a long time ago, and that you signed some adoption papers without even reading them, along with others that give me custody of little Karma and take away his last name Namikaze, and if you don't believe me, I brought you all many copies, he said, to deliver several documents showing the truth. Karma, and before you ask why I did it, I already found out about the origin of my birth. I know well that they only had me to supposedly take away the pain of losing their son who was possessed by the Kyuubi. I already knew, and the idea angers me. Naruto and I was always with me. He has taken care of me and defended me all my life. Every problem I had at school, he was there for me, and you Minato spent his time in his position and didn't even have time for me, and you stopped caring after 7 years, and Kurosaki is an arrogant woman who treated me like her slave every day and hit me if I didn't obey her, and you never did anything, and it made me angry how you spoke to Naruto and I. You called him a demon monster when you don't see that the real demon is Kurosaki, he said with disgust. Such words pierced the redhead's mind deeply, who was now crying knowing that her 2 children were separated from her, and worse, both hated her with much disdain, and well, they angered a certain arrogant blonde who, without thinking twice, started to hit her own younger brother. But then the younger redhead simply had to raise his finger to launch a large high-power tornado that sent her flying to another forest, while he looked at her with great boredom while saying to her, Karma, you don't know how much I wanted to do that. Finally I can defend myself from you silly blonde. Thanks Danzo Tozunya Orochimaru, and she's supposed to be the strongest. It's just a joke, he said with a smile. Although what he didn't expect was that Kushina angrily threw her chains that were heading towards the being that Danzo without thinking twice put himself in the middle, and the chains barely did a little damage to him. Danzo, all the villagers and shinobi who see us now witness how this attempt at a mother was about to use her Kekkai Genkai with the intention of hurting her youngest son just for having defended himself. You do not deserve to be an Uzumaki, he said seriously. When she said that, Kushina's hair went from being crimson red to the point of turning white and began to fall at a great speed to the point of having it up to her neck, and before she said anything else a person came and gave her a hard slap, and that person was Liza. Kushina, you have disappointed me. If your father saw you now, he would be more than disgusted. Just seeing how you are now, you have disrespected everything that we Uzumaki represent. We love each other as a family, and we never turned our backs on each other. That is the code of the Uzumaki clan. We went to Konoha so that you could form a new life. Your father sacrificed himself so that you could live your life, and look what you have done, she said seriously. Kushina, but Mom, you must understand that none of this is my fault, but Danzo's. He was the cause of all this because of him. Karma now tells me. But she was interrupted again by another slap from her mother. Liza, shut your mouth. After I have returned from my vacation looking for if there were still new Uzumakis. By the way, I found a cousin of yours who was able to survive. I return, and the first thing I find out is everything you did these years. You mistreated your eldest son only because of your hatred towards the Kyuubi, and as if that were not enough for you, he lived a hell in his childhood, and not satisfied with that, now you were about to use the adamantine chains to hurt your youngest son. What's wrong with you? You are not the daughter I raised. It disgusts me to see you, and Danzo has told me about the care of the little one, and officially you stop being an Uzumaki, and all titles of the clan along with the belongings will now be of your cousin Natalie. Natalie, you are disgusting Kushina for our entire clan, and now we will go home. I will take the respective things of the Uzumaki clan, and the next time you even try to get close to Karma or Naruto you will be locked in a special prison cell, she said seriously. Liza, oh, and Danzo-san, come on, there are many things I want to talk to you about with Orochimaru, and I also want you to sign an order to remove the Senju surname from my dear Grandma Tsunade, since she also broke many of our rules, which we are related to, she said seriously. Without further ado, the former redhead nodded her head, and then both women left. But not before saying that they could go visit them and that they were their family, something that Naruto and Karma gladly accepted as they left the place. Naruto, well, everything is over, the hitch is no longer here, and we can be calm for a while. At least I know that the rest of the Uzumakis weren't a bunch of idiots like Kushina. Anyway, now why don't we go somewhere else to be more comfortable and not have so many meddlers? He said so that his team would nod, but Kiyomi, wait a moment please, I wanted to ask you if we can have a date, just the two of us. What do you say? Naruto-kun said, waiting for the response from the blonde, who said the following. Naruto, you're still here. I thought you'd left with that hitch, Kurosaki. And you know why not? You better open your legs to the first idiot who crosses your path. I have better things to do, he said disinterestedly. Hinata, how can you talk to Kyomi-chan like that? Don't you see that she only wants to be with her boyfriend and instead you spend your time hurting her? Aren't you ashamed? She said angrily while looking at him. Naruto, and what does that matter to me? Besides, you all told me to my face, all that stuff that we supposedly were but never meant anything to me. It was a lie that backfired on you. Understand that I don't care about her, even if one day I see her being raped, beaten, or attempted to be murdered. The only thing I'm doing is making those men do the world a favor by getting rid of a nuisance, as she said in a dead voice. Vermal, yes, leave him alone. Before you bothered him because he was the QB and now you bother him for any nonsense. You need to bother people because you have nothing better to do and you can't do anything but lick the feet of that interested party, she said seriously. Ino, don't get involved in what matters to you. I can't believe you're leaving someone like Kyomi for some random girl who knows where she came from. She's just a hitch, she said angrily while she was supported by the other. Serious mistake in the whole place. A powerful killer instinct was felt in which a mega angry Naruto is seen using his demon mark and looking at the two with total fury and anger, while he tells them the following. Naruto, listen, the only fox here are you three and no one disrespects Vermal. She had Tio go through a lot of things like me and only with her she has made me feel feelings that in my being I thought I had forgotten, and before I tolerated every insult that each one of you told me at the academy, but I'm fed up with you two, he said completely furious. Author's note: for many who ask, Naruto has 20% of the power of sunshine, which gives him the ability to create suns that combined with his fused dark magic power can create techniques like that. End of note. Naruto, solar corona burst. He said to launch 2 suns surrounded by a large amount of darkness that went directly to both girls who received the damage, ending up burning to the point of begging but ending up completely killed. The black-haired Uchiha, seeing him without thinking twice, ran away from the place, shedding tears from her eyes while everything remained in complete silence while someone spoke saying the following. Yakumo, well, you killed those 2, well done. What if Kyomi returns? I assure you, although I still don't understand why she used you, so why now it turns out that she is in love with you, he said with doubt. Sasuke, it's a reverse psychology. It's simple. Kyomi, being the heiress, was always treated like royalty, and every boy in the academy looked at her with desire, fell in love with her, confessed to her, and she rejected him, and that made her feel beautiful. And what happened? Naruto wasn't like that. He came, ignored her all the time, and was never interested in her. That's why he asked you to be her boyfriend. She wanted to fool you and then make fun of him in his face and make everyone laugh, and that you really felt attracted to her. But since it wasn't like that, and she ended up humiliated, now she wants to be with Naruto because she sees him as the untamable beast and wants to be the one who dominates him and boast about it, he said seriously. Enko, that makes a lot of sense to me, but don't worry if it bothers you or something. Remember that you always have your sister who will defend you from that. Anyone, she said with a smile while looking at him. Vermal, and thank you for defending me. You're very sweet, Naruto-kun. Now let's go. I want you to show me more of the place, he said, taking him by the shoulder and walking, followed by the rest of those present. Naruto, this moment of my life, this part of my life is called happiness. I really couldn't be luckier to have them, and more to you, Vermal-chan. I hope to tell you what I feel for you. For now I just have to enjoy it, he thought with a small smile.
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.